Conrad Harrell will start in the setters in jersey number 23, as he did last week against St George Illawarra. Second rower Joe Batchelor is out, replaced in the starting lineup by another familiar figure, 29-year-old former Sea Eagle and Tiger, Curtis Sirenen, to start in the second row. The bench for St Helens will be Joey Lussick, Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, a 37-year-old who's played almost 350 games for St Helens, Ignatius Parsi and Jake Wingfield, James Bell as well. They're the five replacements. We'll get the latest on the weather from Gibbsy on the touchline in a moment or two. Well, let's go. Luke Lewis, good evening to you. Long time no see, mate. Great to see you.
Yeah, good evening, Andrew. And Gibbsy, I've missed you boys. I tell you what, I feel like a little kid driving out today. I was so excited and been watching the footy over the last couple of weeks, the trial games kicking off, and to come back out here where it all started, I seriously feel like a young fan turning up to the game. So I know we've got a long season ahead, but can't wait for this one. Looking forward to watching the Panthers run around. No Appy Coruscant, no Viliami kick-outs, a few guys out. So a different Panthers team that we're used to seeing. But I'm really looking forward to St Helens team playing as well. Watching them live, I know they can play some footy. So, yeah, fingers crossed this weather might help them.
They beat the Dragons last Saturday night in Wollongong, 30 points to 18. And there were some mistakes as both teams' first hit out. You'd expect that. But when it clicked, they looked really good.
They play some fast, up-tempo football. They've got some outstanding rugby league players in this side, and they're all tough. They want to get amongst it. So that's what you need to play against Penrith. You need to be a tough side. You've got to be willing to take the hits, but also be able to give it. So, yeah, look, I thought they played well in patches last week against the Dragons, but they have to be 10 times better than tonight to win.
Well, our great friend John Gibbs is with us again in 2023. He's down on the touchline. Now, I've got to say, Gibbsy, as I welcome you into the broadcast for a new year, I was worried earlier that you were going to melt down there. Then I was worried you're going to drown. Recently, I've been worried you're going to blow away. And now I'm worried you're going to get hit by hailstones. How are you, mate? Welcome.
Thank you, Andrew, and good evening to everyone. To you, your families, and Louis, great to see you. The first person I saw when I arrived at Penrith tonight was Luke Lewis, and he gave me a welcoming smile, so I knew there was going to be problems ahead, and certainly the shenanigans started straight away in the broadcast box, so everything as per usual. But conditions, as you say, Andrew, are remarkably unsettled here. Both teams are out on Penrith Stadium doing their warm-ups. You won't have to warm up much because it's very warm. Now, just on that, let me fill you in. Let's go to the Beaufort scale, because Louis, I know, is very concerned about the Beaufort scale. It is currently a 5, Louis, which is a fresh breeze, going to a 6, a strong breeze. And as I sit here, I can see that storm that is imminent to the south. Hopefully it misses it. We're a chance of it missing us, but there is lots of lightning. But more pressing is a new machine that I've learned about today from the Rugby League. It's called a kestrel machine. Normally a kestrel is a bird. It's the smallest of the raptor family, but this kestrel machine, they put all of the information in, all of the data, which includes heat, humidity, player comfort, all of those things, and it spits out a number. And if that number is above or below a certain point, a benchmark, then they say the heat policy will be introduced. Well, it came under. So all things considered, it's under. So it will be 2 40-minute halves. And as far as lightning is concerned, as I can see it, down to the southwest, there is lightning. Up until the start of the game, the lightning, anything to do with lightning will be controlled by the Rugby League match officials, the NRL operations officials that are here. But when the game starts, that is purely in the hands of Ashley Klein. So if he wants to get out of here, say, all right, boys, we're off, because of the lightning, that will be up to Ashley Klein after it starts. So we're going to have a really interesting night. The only changes, as you say, Andrew, there's 10 interchange instead of 8, the normal 8, and there's 18 on the bench. And keeping in mind, you have 5 reserves now with that 18, and we have the trigger now as 2 concussions for another player. 2 players have failed a head injury assessment. So it's all in play tonight, and I'm looking forward to a big year.
How does lightning factor into the kestrel machine?
I'm not quite sure. Because they did it out in the field, so probably that comes in. I'll have to check it out.
Well, let me ask you this question, John T. Do you have more faith in the kestrel machine or the Beaufort scale?
Well, I think the Beaufort scale is tried and tested, because people who've done navigation for years and years, going right back, Christopher Columbus, Dirk Hartog, Abel Tasman, they all relied on it. So it has been successful over many, many years. The kestrel machine is a newie to me, and I've got to say it's on the mark, because conditions are markedly cooler than they were when we first arrived an hour ago.
I'm just thrilled that Abel Tasman has had a mention on night 1 of the Rugby League season in 2023. So there he is. He's back, Johnny Gibbs and Luke Lewis. I'm Andrew Moore on Grandstand Rugby League. The stadium here looks magnificent. It's continuing to fill, be about half full at the moment, or just a fraction better than that. And firstly, the heat, Louis, might have had people second-guessing whether to come out. And now this extraordinary sky we can see over to the east and southeast.
Well, I tell you what, you forget how hot it actually gets out here, don't you? When I was out by in Cronulla, it wasn't that hot. It was quite nice, a bit of a breeze. But as I was driving out, you could see the temperature gauge in the car slowly going up and up and up. And then finally get out of the car, and it was absolutely boiling out here. So, yeah, look, I felt sorry for these players, especially the England boys. But now it's really cooled down. I think this weather could suit them, and fingers crossed we get a cracking game of footy.
Text coming in already, 0467 920 222. And I'll tell you what, this will be confusing the heck out of Corbin Middlemass and the team over at Delhi, calling the second cricket test because it comes through on the same number. But we'll do our best. More, if everything wasn't normal in the comedy box, that would not be normal. Good to hear you guys back, says Mark on the Central Coast. Thank you, Mark. Ian in Brisbane says, good evening all. Glad the footy's back on, and go Penrith. You mentioned Louis. Thank you, by the way, Ian. 0467 920 222. You mentioned Penrith. They're two massive outs for them, aren't they? Happy Croissau and also Viliami Kikau, the special Ks for Penrith. Luke Garner is a player with, I still reckon, untapped ability. We saw him not fulfil it necessarily at the West Tigers. This could be the place where it does succeed for him. We saw Zach Hosking, who's starting in the second row for Penrith, have a bit of an impact in the 4 games he ran on the field for the Broncos last year. But one thing we know is they don't only have a lot of talent, as much or more than any other club in the comp, but when they get to this level, they're ready to be NRL players.
Oh, absolutely. And when they come through, they all train the same. So all these young kids coming through, they were outstanding in last year in their own rights. For me, just talking about Luke Garner, I really got big raps on Luke Garner. I like the way that he plays. He can run a beautiful line. He's got some speed. He can play sort of anywhere on the footy field. I'm interested to see what side he plays on tonight. He's going to play left or right. But if he's playing outside Nathan Cleary, I think he's going to go. His game's going to go to another level. I really do. I know Nathan Cleary loves a whole running back rower. There's no Liam Martin out there also tonight. But yeah, I'm really interested just to see how Penrith's going to sort of move around the park. Api Coruscant's service out of dummy half, finding Isaiah Yeo with that ball moving from left to right. Is that going to go missing? I'm not too sure. But Mitch Kenny can play. But yeah, look, a totally different looking outfit for me.
Well, John Gibbs down on the touchline. You'd expect a World Club Challenge game in Australia, the Australian side, to be an overwhelming favourite. But winning 4 competitions in a row, you don't need much else to tell you how strong this St Helens club is.
No, they're very strong. There's no doubt about that. And most of the players are backing up. And there's a handful that have won the 4 straight premierships. 5 players, I think, have been outside to win all 4. So they've got a strong nucleus, but Penrith, how can you go past them? I mean, the last 3 years, Andrew, the statistics that they have run up are just phenomenal. You're going back to the St George era in the 50s to get something that's comparable. And the last 27 games here, they've won 25 of them. I mean, even a bloke like Nathan Cleary has hardly lost a game in the last 3 years. I think it's 91% of games he plays, he wins. So I can't go past Penrith, particularly here. And this is only the 5th World Club Challenge game that's been held in Australia. The first one back in 1976 against Eastern Suburbs at the Sydney Cricket Ground. That was won by Eastern Suburbs. And then we had a whole heap of them that have been over there in England. So this is only the 5th one in Australia. Heavy rain coming now.
Okay, mate, I'll let you get under the umbrella. John Gibbs down there on the touchline. It really has been, whatever weather you like, you're getting it today. And now the rain's starting to fall, and there's a bit of lightning over there beyond the eastern grandstand that we can see as well. So I'll run through the teams for you in a moment. Earlier today in the Charity Shield played at Mudgee. It was a dominant South Sydney performance. They ended up beating St George Illawarra by 42 points to 24. The win there for the Rabbitohs. And in a New South Wales Cup trial played here, Penrith 28 beat the Roosters 4. The match review committee has charged only 1 player from last night's pre-season games in Gosford. Newcastle's Phoenix Crossland has been fined for dangerous contact on Junior Barlaw early in the second half. Parramatta's second rower Sean Lane has suffered a fractured jaw. No official word on how much of the early season he'll miss, but it could be for at least the first 5 or 6 rounds. while another back rower, Matt Dury, suffered an ankle injury. And you bear that in mind that Ryan Madison will also miss the first 3 rounds after his inexplicable decision to accept a suspension rather than a $4,000 fine after the grand final. Bryce Cartwright also may be unavailable for round 1 because of a jaw injury. So that Eels starting back row for the first round against the Melbourne Storm may well be Jack Murchie, they picked up from the Warriors, and Jairo Momasea, they picked up from Newcastle. Last night, Manly Warringah scored an impressive win over the Roosters, 28-16, while Parramatta thrashed Newcastle 36-14. And Louis, even though that scoreline's impressive for Parramatta, it tails into insignificance compared to injuries at this time of year.
Yeah, absolutely, especially to Sean Lane. That's a massive one. We know how good he played last year and how, I suppose, vital he was to that Parramatta side. That's a huge loss, but one plus that come out of that game last night. That's probably the best I've seen Mitch Moses play. I reckon he was outstanding. He must have had a great pre-season. He's ready to rock and roll. He's obviously putting his hand up. He's got contract negotiations going on, but he had a cracking game, and I was really impressed with Manly last night. And they had a few guys out. Obviously, Daly Cherry Evans was out north, and Tom Trbojevic. But I like the way they played, their style, moving across, moving sideways, getting the ball to the fast man. They look really good.
Not much is expected, Gibbsy, from your old team this year, but good start in the pre-season anyway.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, when you consider that their main men, Tom Trbojevic and Daly Cherry Evans, aren't there. But they are trials, Andrew. I'm always a little bit sceptical of form in trials, but if you win it, well, they got 29 out of possible 30 points. The thing that went, if they'd got one more offload last night, well, the pre-season would have been wrapped up already. The $100,000 would have been in their pockets. This rain's getting heavy. You can probably hear it, Andrew, on my umbrella here, but things are looking okay. If they can maintain fitness, depth might be a little bit of a problem, but there's a good vibe in the club. There's no doubt about that.
On the SMS, Paul from Wynnum says, come on, you Saints. Morning, lads. Paul in the English Lake District here. Pleased to hear that the cooler weather has arrived. Would have been tough for Saints in the heat. Good to hear you all back. From Paul in Keswick. Thank you, Paul. Lovely to hear from you. Yeah, the rain coming down as hard as it's fallen since we arrived at the ground this afternoon. Cam, the truckie from Melbourne in Tamworth, on my way home. So happy to have the footy back. It's what helps me clock up the K's. Go the Storm. Drive safe, Cam. Nice to have you back, mate. Mark and Leanne, right team. How good to have the footy back. Too much sport is barely enough. India 5 for 135. Jadeja out. LBW to Murphy on 26, but Coley's on 44. Welcome back. Thank you, Mark and Leanne, and thanks for the updates as well. 0467 920 222. In some other rugby league news, West Tigers star English recruit John Bateman is expected to touch down in Sydney most likely next week. Not sure whether he'll be picked for round 1 though. Ben Eichen may be the front runner to replace Rowan Sawyer as the Queensland Rugby League Chief Executive. Ben's currently the head of football at the Broncos. And our thoughts go out to former NRL star Isaac Luke and his family after Isaac's dad, George Luke, was one of those killed as a result of that devastating cyclone Gabrielle in New Zealand. So our thoughts certainly go out to Isaac and his family. 0467 920 222. Running through the two teams, Louis, that Penrith team, for the most part, very familiar. Dylan Edwards is out with a minor hamstring injury. He'll be there for round 1, and they're here on the opening Friday night of the season against Brisbane. So Stephen Crichton to play fullback. The wingers are Taylor May and Brian To'o. Taylor May was a revelation last year, but will miss the start of this season with suspension. Setters Isaac Tango and Sunia Taruba, the Fijian, who appeared in 3 games last year, and a lot of Penrith hopes on Taruba proving to be the star that he may well be. That halves combination is there tonight. Jerome Luai and the co-captain Nathan Cleary. The lock co-captain Isaiah Yeo. What a year he had in 2022. Second rowers are the new pair of Zach Hosking and Luke Garner. Luke played 20 games for the Tigers last year with 17 starts. Front rowers James Fisher-Harris, who appeared for the Muddy All-Stars last week against the Indigenous All-Stars. He's up front with Moses Leota, and Mitch Kenny is the hooker, and a lot of focus on Mitch, bearing in mind Api Croyasau is headed to the West Tigers. The bench will be Jack Cogger, a recruit, Matt Eisenhuth, Spencer Leniu, Jamin Salmon, and Lindsay Smith, the front rower, who played 3 games for them last year. Like I say, Louis, a very familiar-looking team, albeit with a few significant changes.
Yeah, we talked about the changes and obviously the guys that are missing, but it's a great side. From 1 to 13, even 1 to 17, they're amazing. And Look, they're going to be so hard to beat tonight. I love Stephen Crichton. He can play anywhere on the field, but I'm really looking forward to him playing in that number 1 jersey. No Dylan Edwards. He was outstanding last year, and the way that he played in that grand final, he deserved that Clive Churchill medal.
Last 2 years it's been.
Oh, he's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's easily the unsung hero of this Penrith side. He doesn't get the raps that he deserves to get, but every game he plays, he puts in everything he's got in his game, and it just seems to blossom every year. So, yeah, look, I don't think Penrith will be too upset he's not playing tonight. But Stephen Crichton, good opportunity for him to put his hand up in that number 1 jersey. I can't wait to see him run around. But Jerome Loy, Nathan Cleary, all class. Hopefully they pick up where they left off last year.
Well, Gibbsy, I'll bring you in here as we run through the St Helens team. Their fullback, they've got big hopes for him. And he's been around for the last couple of years. Jack Wellesby, he's only 21. The wingers, point-scoring machine, Tommy Makinson and Will Hopewadi. The centres, tonight Conrad Harrell, another familiar face, with Mark Percival, a 28-year-old. 5'8", he seems to have been around forever, Johnny Lomax, man of the match in last year's grand final win over Leeds. The halfback is Lewis Dodd, who, because of an Achilles injury suffered last April, missed the grand final win a year ago. He did play in 2021, and he's only 21. The lock is Morgan Knowles, who some rate the best lock forward in the UK. The second rowers are Curtis Sirinen and Sione Mataudia, who's won 2 competitions now at St Helens. The front rowers, they reckon he's a gun, the 25-year-old. He's represented England, Matty Lees, with Alex Walmsley, who some say is the best prop in the world, and he's played a part in all 4 titles for St Helens. The hooker, the ageless James Roby, does have a number, 37 years of age, played over 500 games, 2 grand final man of the match awards, 11 grand finals in all for 10 victories. He's a legend of the sport, James Roby. And their bench will be Joe Lussick, Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook is also 37, Ignatius Parsi, Jake Wingfield and James Bell. Again, John Gibbs, some familiar names and faces there, but James Roby, rightly so, has had so much attention since St Helens have been out here. What a champion.
He's been a great player, James Roby, and from all reports he's a champion bloke, and he doesn't take things too seriously. And if they are to provide any opposition tonight for Penrith, they're going to need him as their skipper to lead from the front. They're out on the field, and it looks as though St Helens, the wind has changed, Andrew, from the north to the south, so that the wind in this first half, as the rain continues, and it will be a slippery surface, will be at the backs of St Helens in this first half.
Now, by the way, in Delhi, Virat Kohli is out. Not a bad first wicket on debut for the left-arm spinner Matthew Kuhnemann. Virat Kohli out. LBW for 44. India now in trouble at 6 for 135 in reply to Australia's first innings of 263 with the keeper Barrett on 2 and Ajay Patel, who batted really well in Nagpur, yet to score. So the teams are out. Louis, do you see anything but a Penrith win tonight?
I find it very hard to write Penrith off here at home, but hey, who knows?
So St Helens will kick off defending the southern end. No one knows.
Who knows? I'd love to see an upset because it'd be good for the game, but Penrith, they're just too much class.
It's going to be St Helens to kick off, defending the southern end of Panthers Stadium. We'll get the lights off here. Thank you, Dennis. And away we'll go for the World Club Challenge. There's a whistle from Ash Klein. Touch judges Darian Ferner and David Munro with Chris Butler in the bunker. And the catch is taken by Stephen Crichton. Gives it left to Moses Leota and runs into a solid hit from Matty Lees, primarily the front rower for St Helens. 12 metres out from the Penrith line. He's lost the ball, Leota. He got up to play it. Now there's a bit of push and shove between he and Lees. And players after 20 seconds have come running in at each other. And Ashley Klein blows the whistle again. Nothing more than push and shove. But Leota, well, he's trying to play it and the ball hit the toe of his boot. And so that constitutes a lost ball, and it'll be a St Helens scrum feed. 14 out from the Penrith line, right in front of the northern post, Louis.
Yeah, how good was that from Matty Lees, straight off the kickoff. He goes, I'm taking it straight to the Penrith front row, and he did. He come up with a great shot, got straight up, and then the wet weather, he can't get the ball down and play it right. And now here's St Helens right in the middle of the field. Perfect opportunity to get some early points, but it's going to be a fiery game.
It's come to be fed by Lewis Dodd, talented young halfback for St Helens. Picked up by Roby at the back, and he darts to the left before he's claimed. 14 metres out from the Penrith line. So for an early opportunity here for the 4-time English Super League champion. They work it right to Knowles, and the number 13's tackle, 4 metres out from the Penrith line. The Otter was in there with Yo, played to Roby, comes right to Alex Walmsley, driven back, lost the ball behind him, cleaned up by Roby. Pass away to Lomax, then away to the halfback Dodd. Dodd runs to his left, sends it on the inside to Percival. And the 28-year-old centre, Mark Percival's tackle, 14 out from the Penrith line. 90 seconds gone in the World Club Challenge, no score. James Roby, dummy half, goes right to Lomax. Lomax gets a short offload away to support, and Lees is tackled 10 metres out from the goal line. Near enough centre field. Roby awaits and he'll come away left with a deep pass. Away to Dodd, sends it back on the inside of Mataudia, and the former Knight's taken. 7 out from the Penrith line. Heavy rain here at the foot of the mountains. Last tackle, Roby goes left to Dodd. Kick, runs into a Penrith player. Was it played at as it ends up over the western touch line? 12 metres out from the goal line, and Ashley Klein is just checking with the touch judge. No, it's going to be a play the ball coming up here 12 metres out from the Penrith line, and it's going to be a St Helens ball that's deemed to be played out by the Panthers. Let's check in downstairs. Johnny Gibbs in the rain. Yeah, well, they're going to play the ball here, Penrith. I think they're a little bit... No, they're changing it now, which is as we thought it should be. But this is a great opportunity. They're throwing the ball about. Good defence so far from Penrith, as you would expect. They work it right from the play the ball, and it's Walmsley tackle 5 metres out from the goal line. St Helens get the running here in the first 2.5 minutes. No score though. Dodd fires it left away to the fullback, Wellesby. And he darts off the left foot towards centre field. Tackle 14 out for the goal line. Right in front of the northern post. Played to Roby. Spins it way right. And now it's Lomax. Sends it back on the inside to Conrad Harrell. And the former Warrior beats one tackle. Now claimed only 4 metres out. He's an enormous figure. Harrell plays the ball to Roby. A long pass goes left to Knowles. Short ball onto Lees. He's taken 5 metres out. Lovely defence coming that time from Garner, but it's a set restart for St Helens. Roby out of dummy half, gets very, very close. He's only 1 metre away from the line when he plays the ball. They work it to the right. Dodd got it away to Max Lees. He spins in the tackle. 3 out from the Panthers line. 3 minutes 10 gone. No score, but it's all St Helens. Roby comes to the right. Knowles got it away to Lomax with a right foot step. Johnny Lomax tackled 4 metres out from the goal line. 3 defenders including Luai involved in Fisher Harris. Played to Roby, short side, rubber kick. Played up by Penrith, picked up by Leota, and Penrith survived somehow. They've got the ball back, Luke Lewis. 7 out for their own line with a scoreless start.
Yeah, what an amazing start from the Panthers defensive line. They're up in the face of St Helens. They weren't letting them do anything, but that was a great little bit of play there from Roby. He just couldn't get the ball through. He had 2 players on his outside pushing through for the try, but great little ricochet there for the Panthers.
Penrith 20 metres out from their own line as they send it to the right. They reach their 30 right in centre field. The defence comes from Max Lees as it's played by Hosking. Goes left to Fisher Harris, away to Luai. Good hands. Then a cut-out pass away to Tango. Tango beats one. Got it to Taylor May. Stepped in field away from Makinson and now tackled. No, they play on the Panthers as they work it to within 22 metres of the line. Brilliant skills. Tango. He goes to the right now. Way to Nathan Cleary. Cleary takes on the line. Sends it back to the left. Crichton on the last. He puts in a crossfield stab kick, and the St Helens side dive on the bouncing ball. 6 out for their own line. What about the razzle-dazzle coming from Penrith? And in the end, it was Will Hopewadi who saved the day for St Helens. And now Saints have it through Percival. 10 metres out from their own goal line. It comes right to Hopewadi. He's caught 19 out from his own line on play 3. 4 minutes 40 gone. And there's no score. Roby goes to the right. So St Helens, they had all the attack in that first few minutes on the Panthers line, and Penrith nearly went the length to score. Roby inside his 30. He comes to the right, and the tackle comes about 12 metres short of halfway. Ball played now by Knowles, and it comes left for the kick off the boot of Lewis Dodd, the halfback. It's trapped by the winger for Penrith, Brian To'o. Fields at 20 out from his own line, heads to the 30, and that's where he's caught. No score, 5 gone. Touchline, John Gibbs. What a brilliant side they are, Penrith. There's no side in recent history that can soak up pressure like the Panthers do. They just had tackle after tackle after tackle, soaked it all up, and then the counter-attack, they nearly scored down the other end. They are a magnificent team. The Panthers now take it close to halfway, 20 metres in from the eastern touchline. And the ball's played. Comes to the right to Fisher Harris, who beats the attempt by Lees. Taken now 9 metres in Saints territory. Played to Kenny. Goes to the right to Isaiah Yeo. He's caught in a tackle coming through there by the St Helens second rower. Sione Mataudia, 30 out from the Saints line on the last. Cleary, a little dink kick, but it bounces away from Wellesby. No, he gets back and picks it up, the fullback. Beats the first, still going. Now caught 8 out from his own line. St Helens deep in their own territory, Louis. 6 minutes gone, no score.
Yeah, well, St Helens want to get used to this. What Penrith love to do. They'll work their way out of their own end. Nathan Cleary will consistently kick to that right corner and make them bring them out. They've got to be squeaky clean here and continue to get the ball down the other end.
So that gives him on. Right, is this rain getting heavier and heavier?
Yes, it is. And the breeze has abated a little bit, but it is absolutely pelting down right now, and they're going to have to hang onto the ball and kick and hope. St Helens, the only good thing for them at the moment, apart from the rain, is that there's no score.
Your umbrella is copying an absolute hammering, clearing kick downfield. One bounce to Crichton, 25 out from his own line, over the 30, over the 40 goes Stephen Crichton, and he's tackled just on halfway. His performance this year, Louis, will be under the microscope. Bearing in mind he signed for Canterbury Bankstown from 2024 as the Panthers go right to To'o, and he has it 5 metres in St Helens territory.
Yeah, he won't be thinking about it too much. I know it's all done and dusted, but yeah, look, there's going to be a lot of microscope on him, but he'll play well. He's just all class, Stephen Crichton.
Been a very valuable member of their team in the last 3 grand finals. His intercept with Cody Walker. Won it for them in 2021 as Luai. He sends the ball away to his left to Tango, and he's dragged down from behind. 22 out from the St Helens line on the far side of the field. Play to May. Comes to the right to a running Luai. Luai fends away from Roby. Long pass to his right to Crichton. Then quick hands, it comes to Hosking, and he's tackled 21 metres out. Last tackle now for Penrith. In front of the southern goalpost. Kenny goes right to Cleary. Pop the pass. It comes from Taruva. Away to To'o. To'o beats one and then shoved over the touchline primarily by Jack Wellsby. And St Helens survived with some desperate defence. 7 minutes 30 gone, no score. It is as dark as if it was midnight, Luke Lewis. It is belting down, and yet these players have started the game like a house on fire.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a great start to the game. It's been fast. It's been frantic. The Panthers are really starting to find their mojo again, but the lightning's really starting to show deep over in that eastern side of the grandstand. But the players will be loving this.
So now St Helens on play 1. Roby goes left to Hobblewadi. Tackled 12 out from his own goal line. And over the top came Zach Hosking. Now they work it towards centre field, the Saints. And they'll play it just about 16 out for their own line. Roby goes right to Alex Walmsley. Runs into Liotta. Bounced away from Garner. Plays at 22 out from his own line to Roby. Goes to his right to Lomax. Then quick hands away. They make a break downfield over halfway. Over the 40. Back on the inside. Backing up. For St Helens looks to be Wellsby, the fullback. And he's able to score the first try for St Helens after 8.5 minutes. Then he trips over the in-goal area. But great backing up from Jake Wellsby. And St Helens goes 70 metres to score the opening try of the night. 8 minutes 40 gone in the World Club Challenge. And it's St Helens 4, Penrith 0 with a kick to come from in front.
Well, from absolutely nowhere there, St Helens, they get a nice little play. Roby out of dummy half, then gives it to, I think it was Johnny Lomax at the time. I don't know where the ball went. Looked out, played back on the inside, made a break, nice little short ball. And then it was just a simple 2-on-1. Draw and pass from Stephen Crichton. And then Wellsby just goes straight over as easy as you like. What a try there from St Helens.
A great break by Curtis Sirinen. Touchline, John Gibbs.
Oh, that was beautiful play. It was Curtis Sirinen on that right edge. He burst onto the ball. He set up a couple of tries against St George Illawarra last week when they played in that first round of the pre-season. But then great backing up by Jack Wellsby. Keeping in mind, in that southwestern corner, it was Jack Wellsby who came up with a big tackle. I thought it might have been a bit high. That stopped Ryan To'o. To'o looked all set to score. Didn't. They kept the ball alive. Went to the edge, the right edge, that eastern side of the field. And Curtis Sirinen was into the open space and gave the ball back on the inside to Jack Wellsby. So that is completely against the run of play.
Now, the goal kicker for St Helens is a prodigious point scorer, Tommy Makinson. He's only 7 or 8 metres out. Right in front, he moves in and he kicks the goal. So, St Helens open the scoring in the World Club Challenge to lead Penrith by 6 points to 0. Now, updating the cricket test being played in Delhi, it's day 2. And Australia doing a great job so far. India 7 for 146. The keeper, Virat, is out, becoming Nathan Lyon's 5th wicket. He's gone for 6. Ajar Patel is 3. Ravichandran Ashwin is 4. And India in all sorts is 7 for 146. Still 117 runs behind. Maury Louie and Mr. Gibbs, great to have footy back. Please let us know about the cricket. We've done that. Amen. Evening, gents. Fantastic to hear you back. Penrith for the win tonight. Can't wait for the regular season to kick off. From Adam the Truckee as the kick-off goes deep into that southeast corner. And Leaves will bring it back for St Helens, 18 out from his own line. Enjoying the call with a few beverages after a beautiful summer's day in Melbourne. Welcome back, boys. Go to the Broncos, says Brett from Nobby as well. St Helens now 28 out from their own line. We'll get to as many of those as we can. Sirinen plays the ball to Roby. Comes to the left of Walmsley. Nice to see Curtis Sirinen out there starting for St Helens. A new venture for him after injury wrecked so much of these last couple of years with Manly Warringah. Roby goes right to Lomax. Turns it back on the inside to Hurrell. Got straight past Kenny. And now he's going to be claimed. Metre in Penrith territory. Gee, they look sharp, St Helens. Roby dummy half. Short ball left to Wormsley. Up the middle he goes. Crushed to the ground. 9 metres in Penrith territory. Last tackle Saints, who lead 6-0 after 11 minutes, and Wormsley's lost the ball. That was a win for Moses Liotta. Great hit by Moses. That'll be a scrum feat for Penrith. 10 short of halfway, right in centre field. St Helens 6 leading Penrith 0.
Yeah, well, they've been so good, St Helens, to start this game. They've just been willing to roll up their sleeves, get to, play 4, play 5 and kick long. And they just overplayed that one there a little bit too much. Try to get up for a quick play of the ball and keep asking questions, but doesn't get the ball to the ground correctly and then comes up with a drop. Well, the Panthers, I think they'll be breathing a sigh of relief there because I'm with you. They've started sharp, the St Helens side.
So here's the scrum fed and won by Penrith. And it comes away to the left edge. Tango's tackle 2 metres short of halfway. And it's a set restart here for the Panthers. After only play one, it's got to be set. It comes left to Garner. He beat one tackle, Hurrell. Now caught 5 metres in St Helens territory. He'll play the ball to Kenny. Comes open side right to James Fisher-Harris. Powers into Roby and Lees and also Mataudia. 36 metres out from the Saints goal line. Plays the ball to Kenny. Goes to the right this time. Yo turns it into Liotta. And he backs his way to the defence. 32 out from the St Helens line, with St Helens leading by 6 points to 0 with that try to the fullback Wellesby. Now it's Cleary over the 30. Show and go from him into Lomax. He's tackled 20 metres out from the goal line. He'll get to his feet. Play the ball to Kenny. Penrith on the attack. Comes right to Luai. Floats a cutout ball to Stephen Crichton, but it was not a good pass. And Crichton caught almost immediately. 19 out from the line. Last tackle in front of the post southern end. And it's a set restart for Penrith. That came on the last. So that's a huge bonus for the Panthers, who now take it to within 12 metres of the line. It's played. And Liotta plays it. It comes left now, away to Yo. He steps straight past one tackle. That was Lees. And he's 5 metres out. He could almost reach out and touch the left upright. Kenny sends the pass away to his left. Cleary beats one with a left foot step. He gets very close to the line. He's held up by Wellesby in some desperate defence. And what's Ashley Klein going to rule? Let's have a listen.
All right, we're coming up with tackle 3 here, Bucky. I have no try. Now, confirm that it is momentum that takes him across the line first, but then loses possession of the ball.
Well, it sounds like the odds are stacked against Nathan Cleary with that description from Ashley Klein. It was a great step. I've got to say, Louis, once he stepped past the first, I thought he was going to score.
Yeah, absolutely. He did the right thing here, Nathan Cleary. They only had 3 defenders out there.
It's all momentum currently for
right
Nathan Cleary. Just need to make sure he doesn't get to the line at any point.
But from that view, he doesn't look like he gets over the line at all. That's a big play there by Wellesby to hold him out.
Cleary was low to the ground.
The ball short of the line at this point. Now need to just keep playing on to see what happens after.
Cleary ends up on top of Wellesby, on or about the goal line.
No try.
Then a Saints hand comes in. I think it was Knowles to knock the ball free.
And it's short as well. No try.
So the only thing we know, Gibbs, it won't be a try by the look of all of that.
No, St Helens is affecting a tackle, and Nathan loses the ball in the field of play. We have a decision.
It's gone backwards though anyway, but it'll be a St Helens ball. But St Helens, well, they get off the hook there because they gave the ball back to Penrith. Remember when Alex Wormsley lost it in the last play, and then they got a tackle restart, Penrith, on the last play as well. So if they have aspirations, St Helens are winning. They want to just fix that up.
Have we got any Kestrel update?
Kestrel, well, it's wet. It's wet. And it's amazing. The change is incredible. But this is good for the players now, because I would say the temperature's gone from about 34 degrees to about 21 in half an hour.
Got to give Jack Wellesby a massive rap. He's come up with 2 try-saving plays already. He's only 21 years old against his quality side in Penrith. Scored a try. What a start of the game.
So St Helens on play 2. Worker left to Will Hobblewadi and he's pushed back. 15 out from his own goal line. 13 minutes gone. St Helens 6, leading Penrith 0 with a try in the 9th minute to their star 21-year-old fullback Jack Wellesby. Now just short of the 30, the Saints, and the ball is played. And it comes right to Wormsley. He's going to be tackled 32 out from his own goal line by Liotta and Kenny. Now Roby out of dummy half, the 37-year-old who should reach 550 career games this year. He's tackled 5 short of halfway. A kick out of dummy half by Lewis Dodd, the halfback, and it's going to bounce over the western touchline. Stephen Crichton hurt on the side of caution, and it'll be a play the ball for Penrith. 11 out for their own line. 13 minutes 30 gone. St Helens 6, Penrith 0. On the SMS, is it possible to work out how many Saints fans have made the journey? Whatever happens now, at least they've crossed the whitewash once, says Paul in Keswick in England. Seen a few. They'd be heavily outnumbered, as you'd imagine, but I have seen a few from St Helens here today. and earlier driving into the ground. There are a lot of St Helens jerseys around, so they're well represented. And now the Panthers have it through Crichton. Heavily in bowl, playing fullback tonight. Tackled 24 out from his own line, but he's slow to his feet after that tackle in centre field. And Crichton is really struggling to play the ball after the tackle by Matauti. He's standing, but just didn't feel comfortable enough to play on. 14 minutes, 11 seconds gone. 6-0 St Helens. Wendy says, Andrew's grandstand only commentating on the World Club Challenge, or are you doing some other trial games? Well, the trial games finish after this weekend. Did you say Roosters 42, Dragons 24? No, I said South 42, defeated the Dragons 24. And what are some other scores today? Well, there's only that one game on, and Brisbane play the Cowboys later tonight. Last night, as I mentioned, there were wins for the Roosters. Manly over the Roosters as Penrith lose the ball. There'll be a scrum feed for St Helens, 38 out from the Penrith goal line. Yeah, last night, Manly Ringer was far too good for the Sydney Roosters. And they ended up winning that game 28-16. Parramatta thrashed Newcastle 36-14. And here a mistake comes from the Panthers. Louis, and a chance for St Helens with a scrum 34 metres out as Garner spilt it.
Yeah, Garner would like his time over there again in the Penrith jersey, but I'm sure he's got plenty of good times ahead of him. But look, for me, Penrith look a little bit rattled. The St Helens side have really turned up and taken it to them, and they're beating them on the ground, they're beating them to the punch and everything, and they're starting to make some half little breaks. So they've got to turn it around, Penrith.
It's Conrad Hurrell who goes without it on play one, but it was touched by Penrith, scooped up by Roby. 6 more for St Helens, and they had the footy 24 out from the Penrith line. 6-0 to St Helens after a quarter of an hour. Now they work the ball open side left, and in centre field, just saw a big bolt of lightning, I believe, in the semi-distance. Roby 19 out. Goes to his left to Dodd. Turns it inside to Walmsley. And Alex Walmsley's put to the ground. 12 metres out from the Penrith goal line. The Panthers' mighty defence being tested again. To the left, Dodd. An inside ball away to Percival, and he's knocked to the ground. It was a sideways run, and he got belted to the deck. 14 metres out for the goal line by Fisher, Harris and Kenny. Now Knowles goes right to Lomax. Delayed pass on to Sirenen, and he's well contained by the Panthers. 12 metres out from the line, and 16 in from touch on the eastern side. James Roby, dummy half, short side raid. It goes to Wellesby to Conrad Hurrell, and he's still built like a brick house. Conrad Hurrell, you're not going to stop him from there. He's over to score. St Helens celebrate. The Saints are out to a 10-0 lead with a kick to come after 16 minutes. They went the blind side, and once Hurrell got it that close to the line, Luke Lewis, he was never going to be stopped.
He's so hard to tackle, Conrad Hurrell, but again, beautiful little play down the short edge, and it's Jack Wellesby inserting himself, getting into the game, holding the ball in two hands. Beautiful little short ball. He sold it perfectly. I thought he was going long to the winger. Hits Conrad Hurrell on the chest, one-on-one, 5 metres out, and this kind of weather, too hard to tackle. Great try, St Helens.
Touchline, John Gibbs.
Well, they've been handling the ball. They've got a bit of confidence there, haven't they? They stopped that try after the counter-attack. They had the pressure early on, and now they're really brim full of confidence, which is fantastic for them. And you don't see this often. The Panthers down that northern end of the ground, that northeastern corner, they're in a huddle. They're saying, what's happening here? They're not normally getting beaten by 10 points to nil at home. As I said previously, they've won 25 of their last 27 games at home. They hardly get beaten here. So this is a real shock. They've got to lift. There's no doubt about that.
Now the kick will come from right out on that eastern touchline, and while he took the kick from in front, only 7 or 8 metres out, he's taken this touchline conversion 26 metres out and a metre in on the eastern side of the field. Tommy Makinson, 32 years of age, scored 230 points last year in the English Super League. He's won the Golden Boot over in the UK as well. Scores a lot of tries as well as kicking a lot of goals. Considering this crazy weather, the crowd's pretty darn good. Makinson strikes it, misses it to the right, no goal. He's 1 out of 2, but St Helens off to a dream start in the 2023 World Club Challenge. They lead Penrith by 10 points to nil with 2 tries in a 7-minute period. Now I'll get an update in the cricket score. It's having problems with their screens on my laptop at the moment. No, there it is. India 7 for 151. Thank you, James. 7 for 151 in reply to Australia's 263, with Asia Patel on 3 and Ravichandran Ashwin on 9. Nathan Lyon has 5 for 40. Here's the kick-off from Cleary. St Helens will get the footy back. 17 minutes 30 gone. And the scoreline 10-0 to St Helens. There's no quarters, it's just 2 halves. There's no drinks break. The teams agreed on it after checking out the Kestrel machine and all the information it spat out. So now St Helens just outside their 20. James Roby goes left to Alex Walmsley. Got straight past Liotta. Tackled 32 out from his own goal line. He'll play it to Roby again. At 37 years young, still as good as ever. Goes left Mataudia. He's tackled 8 metres short of halfway. Plays the ball to Roby. Roby takes it on himself. Goes right to Walmsley. Crashed into Liotta and Kenny and tackled 9 metres in St Helens territory. I tell you what, they're getting down the field okay. Played now to Roby. Comes to the left. The high kick from the left-footed Lewis Dodd. Crichton getting under it. The chase is on. Crichton takes it 8 out from his own line. Evades the first. Can't beat Hopewadi though, and he'll play it 10 out from his own line. St Helens not having any trouble getting down the field. Louis is now Taruba, he's tackled 10 out from his own line for Penrith.
Yeah, well, that was almost the perfect step, but their front rowers are just pulling their sleeves up, tucking the ball under Rudden, hard and direct, making some really good metres, and then they're shifting out wide, and their back rowers are doing the work as well. They're playing the perfect game of football at the moment, St Helens.
Now Penrith, 26 out from their own line. The Panthers in 13 days open their premiership defence, taking on the Broncos at this very ground on a Friday night. As now on the last tackle for Penrith. It comes right to Cleary from just outside his own 30. It floats a kick down there for Hopewadi on the left wing. Takes it on the full just outside his 30. Returns it to the 40. Runs into Hosking and co. And he'll play about 9 short of halfway. 19 gone. 10-0 to St Helens. And they had the footy again. Percival steps straight past one. Now he's tackled right on halfway. Dummy half is Roby. Short ball goes right side away to Makinson in off the wing. And he's tackled 6 metres in Penrith's half by Liotta and Luai. Played to Roby. Goes right to Johnny Lomax. Turns it in for the try scorer, Conrad Hurrell. Again takes a lot of putting down. He'll play it 32 out from the Penrith line. How'd you go putting him to the ground, Louis, this big hunky lad?
No, I remember playing a game with him once and he put his knee, and he's the strongest human being in the world, and it took Denver took that. I never want to tackle him again.
Last play. The kick comes from Dodd. It's a little chip kick from left to right, tapped in by Makinson, but straight to Tango, and he's got it back for Penrith, 11 out from his own line. 20 minutes gone, 10-0 St Helens, touchline, John Gibbs.
Well, they're claiming over there that eastern side that he was tackled in the air. Now they're inside the 10, so as a result, Penrith get an opportunity to get some decent field position. The rain has nearly stopped, Andrew, so that's the good news. When you talk about drinks break, they could have had one at any time. They just had to cup their hands. The rain was that heavy, they could have had a slurp, and away they go.
So, no drinks break, no slurp break here at Panthers Stadium. Penrith do get the penalty, though, and they find touch 13 short of halfway. They take the tap, get it close to the halfway paint, down 10-0. Now the ball's played by Tango. It comes to the right to Fisher Harris. Spins in the tackle of Knowles. Wrapped up 5 metres in St Helens territory. Walmsley was in there as well. It's played to Kenny. Comes to the right now. Yo short ball away to Liotta. He's nailed and lost the footy. We're going to see a bit of that because of the rain and the humidity. 7 metres short of halfway. So another mistake from Penrith. St Helens get the footy back. It is all St Helens, the red and the whites. And they lead by 10 points to 0. 2 metres short of halfway. They have it. And now slow play, the ball comes to Roby. He sends it right to Curtis Sirinen, runs into Liotta and 2 others. He's put down 6 metres in Panthers half, 10 metres in from the eastern touchline. Roby comes open side left, Dodd. Got a short ball onto Mark Knowles in centre field. And he's tackled 39 metres out from the Penrith goal line. Morgan Knowles, I should say, not Mark. Comes to the right. And they go through Dodd. Then a pass meant for Hurrell. Bounces off his body and over the eastern touchline. It's been knocked forward, says referee Ashley Klein, which means it'll be a scrum feed for Penrith. 30 out from their own line. 21 minutes, 30 gone in the World Club Challenge. And it's 10-0 St Helens leading Penrith.
Well, we know that 10 points isn't much for the Panthers to come back and get back into this game. But for me, what I'm noticing is the St Helens are just hitting harder and running harder at the moment. They're breaking tackles, they're winning the ruck speed, and they're just out there competing on every play. The Panthers still look a little bit shocked. Look, it won't take long for Nathan Cleary, Jerome Luai to find their feet and Isaiah Yeo. But, yeah, look, I just feel like St Helens have got their cage rattled at the moment and they've got to continue to put this pressure on them.
But we've seen that happen to Penrith before.
Yeah, and then they'll come back and just score 30 points somehow.
They find a way. But they are down 10-0. They do win the scrum, and it comes to the right side to Brian To'o, and he's tackled 31 out from his own line. 17 minutes 45 left in the first half. Kenny goes left to Crichton, and a left foot step, and he's dragged to the ground by Morgan Knowles. 8 metres short of halfway. Plays the ball to Kenny. Replacement coming on for Penrith. with Matt Eisenhuth. Got to say, there's a new look Penrith jersey on display here tonight. The numbers don't really stand out. Cleary sends it on the inside to Fisher Harris. He hits and spins it and sends it straight to Conrad Hurrell. They're just throwing the ball away here, Penrith. And St Helens have it back 4 metres short of halfway. Played to Roby. Short pass goes to the right edge as St Helens work it into Penrith territory by 5 or 6 metres. Ball's going to be played now to Roby. And he'll go short side right. Looks like Ignatius Parsy's on the field, and he collected that last ball. Now outside the 30-metre line, Roby goes open side left to Makinson. Steps back in field and straightens now. 20 metres out from the Penrith line. 2 tackles left here for St Helens. It's played to Roby. Spins it away left to Lewis Dodd. Goes left to right away to support as St Helens through Parsy is tackled 12 metres out from the line. He plays it to Roby on the last. Comes left to Dodd. Threatened to run it. Instead offloads to Lomax to Wellesby to Percival. The ball's knocked down by Percival. Picked up by the Panthers. A little basketball-style pass. Goes back to To'o. And he beat the first. Now he's told to go back and play it. The pass came from Cleary, which was pretty athletic, as the Panthers have it. Taruva. He scored 15 out from his own line. St Helens 10, Penrith 0.
Well, that attacking raid there from St Helens down that left edge, it's set up perfectly there. And then you had Jack Weathersby coming down the short side. He was trying to find Hopewadi, but then you had Percival just put his hand out and drop the ball, but it built nicely there for St Helens.
Now Stephen Crichton in centre field, taken just short of the 30. I'll tell you what, Gibbsy, we've talked about how dark that sky became. It just lit up.
And the crowd is going ooh-ah as those lightning bolts appear in that eastern sky. So it's not necessarily a big hit or a drop ball. It's also the lightning that's getting a roar every time from the crowd here.
Now Fisher Harris tackled for Penrith, 5 metres short of halfway. Last play for Penrith. Kenny goes right to Cleary, and he sends a kick downfield. End over end it goes, and Hopewadi dropped it. He got there on the full, Will Hopewadi, but he never looked fully confident. And in the end, it went in and out of the old bread basket. So it will be a scrum feed for Penrith, 18 out from the St Helens line. 24 and a half gone. St Helens 10, Penrith 0. Maybe that's the mistake, Louis, that Penrith needed.
Yeah, absolutely. They would like that. All over again there, sorry, Will Hopewadi. He was looking at it. I thought he was going to let it bounce. He had a fair bit to do. He had to run to it to get his body position right, but just didn't do it. And the ball come off Nathan Cleary's foot, all ugly, swinging around, swaying the way he wanted it to, and it worked out perfect there for the Panthers.
So, scrum feed for Penrith. Great attacking position. They send it away to the right. Oh, Cleary, not a good pass. Great hands by Crichton. He did well to hold on to it as it was to his left at around about his hip. And he plays a 12 out from the goal line. It comes left from Kenny away to Yeo. He's tackled only a few metres out from the line. Penrith looking for their first points in the World Club Challenge. Mitch Kenny centre field. Goes to his left to Yeo. Turns it back on the inside. It comes to Fisher Harris. And he's confronted by Ignatius Parsi and 2 others, including Roby. 8 metres out from the St Helens line. Now Kenny from dummy half. Sends it right to Cleary. Out the back to Crichton, but the defence is up in his grill. And he's shoved back beyond the 20-metre line. Great defence by the Super League champions. Now the ball's played to Kenny. He goes away to the left. Through hands, Yeo to Luai, away to Tango, fell over the top of one, got a pass away to Taylor May, steps in field through Lomax and through one other out there, Sirinen, and now he's taken 2 metres out.
It'll be the last tackle, I'm worried about his head.
Time off, says the referee. Whose head is he worried about, Taylor May?
You all right?
I think it was...
Oh no, it might be Makinson who's getting spoken to. One of the St Helens players out there is with the physio now.
He comes out of the line, gets the read absolutely right, but I think he has a head clash with his teammate, but he gets straight back up into his feet.
It was Tommy Makinson, the winger. So last play for Penrith, 5 metres out, they're down 10 points to 0. 14 minutes left in the half, and it comes to the right. Cleary with a cross-field kick. Crichton's coming through, players hit the deck, the ball ends up going into the crowd beyond the dead ball line, and that's kicked that way by St Helens. So it'll be a St Helens line dropout. Repeat set for Penrith, 14 to go first half. St Helens lead 10-0, touchline, and we go to Johnny Gibbs.
Well, you've got to give them some credit, Andrew. The hustle and bustle is really good. They've had a couple of chances close to the line, but the defence has been desperate. They're going to have a look at this, are they? No, I don't think so. Tommy Makins is going to go for head injury assessment. But this has been a really good first half from St Helens. I know we've still got 13 minutes and 41 seconds. He doesn't want to go off. What had happened, Andrew, when he had that clash? I think he more hit his shoulder as much as his head, so he's blowing up deluxe.
Yeah, he's not happy at all, is he? But he doesn't get a say. And that's a good thing these days.
Yeah, and the good thing about it too is he's actually going to get an extra 15 minutes because there's only 13 minutes to go to half time. So it's actually a good time for him to go off, have a little bit of a breather, come back out in the second half, he's fine.
India 7 for 153, trailing by 110 on day 2 of the second test in Delhi. Asia Patel 5, Ravi Ashwin 9. So line drop out here, St Helens.
James Bell just come on.
Good spotting, Louis. James Bell in the 19 jersey for St Helens. So from the line drop out, it's Eisenhuth returning serve, and he's tackled 32 out from the St Helens line. He plays the ball to Kenny, spins it centre field left, away to Cleary to Liotta, and he's wrapped up 26 metres out from the goal line, and in there was Parsi and 2 others, including Roby. Now Kenny goes to his left to Cleary, runs it into Garner. Garner's put to the ground, 19 out from the goal line. Ignatius Parsi was in there making the tackle with Sirinen. Now they work it right to Yo, away to Cleary, short ball on to Hosking, and Zach Hosking, the son of the Mule, is tackled 11 metres out. David Hosking, the former Manly front rower known as the Mule, comes to Kenny, goes left to Cleary, but the defence up in his grill. And it's Parsi in there with, also in there was the hooker Roby, a metre out right between the posts. Kenny goes left to Yo. Big show and go by Yo, but he steps back into the defence, and he's taken there by Sirinen. 7 metres out, last tackle Penrith. Ball played to Kenny. Goes himself, then puts in a stab kick. Ricochet Rabbit, picked up by St Helens. They've got the footy, 9 out for their own goal line. 27.5 gone. St Helens 10, Penrith 0. Luke Lewis, what about this defence from St Helens?
Yeah, great line speed there from St Helens. They're just getting off their line. They're not giving Penrith any time to play their plays they like to play. They're putting a whole lot of pressure on their ball players. Very smart work. And then you got Isaiah Yo getting a little bit lost. He hasn't been used to this kind of pressure from the defence. So smart work there by St Helens.
St Helens just outside their own 20. Don't forget, you can send us a text 0467 920 222. I tell you what else Saints have been doing, and that's shutting the crowd out. They're very quiet here at Penrith, which you don't normally expect. Roby on his own 30, goes left to Lewis Dodd, dummies inside, goes outside to Lomax, short ball to Hopewadi, and he's cut to the deck, 13 metres short of halfway. It was a great tackle by Brian To'o in off the wing. Lomax goes right to Lewis Dodd. He sent up a towering high kick. We lose sight of it, and it's going to be taken by Stephen Crichton, 30 out from his own line. He did well to get there on the full Crichton. Then a cut out pass to Taylor May. He's over the 40 and over halfway, and now he's put to the ground. A body shot from Curtis Sirinen. 7 metres in St Helens territory. Out of dummy half this time runs Tango. He beats one Isaac Tango, and then he's fallen to the ground only, 8 metres out from the goal line. Lomax ends up on top of him. I think Wellesby got his hands to him. Now comes away for Penrith, 2 metres out. They're trailing 10 points to 0. The Saints' defence has been superb. Luai goes right. It's through hands to Crichton, then a delayed pass on to Fisher Harris. And he runs straight and hard into Parsi. Tackled 11 out from the goal line. 2 tackles left here for the Panthers. Played to Kenny, goes to the right to Cleary, out the back for Crichton. Crichton got the pass on to Taruva. Ball and a tackle by his opposite number, Percival, saves the day for Saints. 6 out from the goal line on the last. Played to Crichton, comes left to Cleary. Not a good pass. The stab kick is not a good one either, but it's a penalty going to Penrith. And time off says Ashley Klein.
Short penalty.
A penalty has gone to the Panthers. Let's go down to the touchline. Johnny Gibbs.
I think James Roby, someone's on report here. James Roby, I think, has taken Nathan Cleary out as well. He was under enormous pressure. And we'll see it here, but Ashley Klein pulled it straight up.
Possibly late and high from James Roby on Cleary.
They've looked to be, and Ashley Klein was straight on. Now, there has been a little change because we had previously Stephen Crichton get one across the mush, but there was no further action because unless it's a reportable offence, the bunker is not going to have as big an involvement. But Ashley Klein, he didn't need any help on that occasion. They'll take the tap. Here's a great chance for them. I think they're going to score and bounce back here, the Panthers.
So he's on report, Roby, as Penrith takes the hit up. And Eisenhuth tackled 9 metres out from the goal line. 10 minutes 30 still to play in the first half. As now the Panthers go from right to left. Spencer Leniu on the field, and he's tackled 2 metres out from the line. Played to Kenny. Goes away left to Cleary. Floats the cutout pass for Taylor May, but it was too high for Taylor May, and he juggled it. Did well to hold on to it with defence around him. 8 metres out from the goal line. Played to Luai. Then goes right to Cleary. Nathan's timing just a little bit off, as you'd imagine, in his first hit out. Now Spencer Leniu beats a couple, and he's tackled 10 metres out, but loses the ball. This is just a very un-Penrith-like display. Leniu's lost the footy, 10 minutes left first half. St Helens 10, Penrith 0. I am putting a fair bit of it down, though, to the pressure that the Panthers are under from this St Helens defence, Lewis.
Yeah, it is. St Helens defence, especially on their line, they're getting off so quick. They're getting up in their face, and the Panthers players don't know what to do. And you've got to remember, the new combination there with no Appy Coruscant, with Mitch Kenny not knowing how to get the ball to him a bit different. Their communication around the ruck will be totally different. So the Panthers got to get used to it. They've probably got to pull off the ball a little bit more, but well done to St Helens. They know exactly how they've got to defend it, and they're executing it perfectly.
He did play 24 games for Penrith last year, Mitch Kenny, albeit only 6 as a starter. But it wasn't always a dummy half either. It was often used as a running forward, as now St Helens have it 15 out for their own line. Roby goes short side left, away to Mataudia. He's tackled just outside the St Helens 20. 31 minutes gone.
Don't take him out of play. Take it back.
Rain as light as it's been since kick-off. And maybe the sky is starting to look a little brighter here at Panthers Stadium, as now St Helens 25 metres out from their own line. Roby awaits at dummy half again, and he'll get a short ball away to his right. And beating one tackle there was one of the interchange forwards for St Helens, just outside their own 30.
Mitch
Your
Kenny.
trainers asked me to stop the game.
Mitch Kenny got a little bit of a knock there. He's sort of stumbling, and I think it was a HIA.
Taking the hit up, by the way, was Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, who's played almost 350 games for St Helens, and like his hooker, he's 37 years of age. Yeah, he was reeling there, Kenny. And he's coming off for an HIA. So he's off for an HIA. Tommy Makinson is off for St Helens for something similar. And he'll get the half-time break.
Tell me when he's off.
So now running on the field for Penrith in the 14 jersey is Jack Cogger. So St Helens have the footy, and Roby goes left to Ignatius Parsi, and he's standing in the tackle now on his knees. 30, he'll make it 40 out from his own line. He was told to play it. He got the pass away, but he'll have to go back and play it again. Last tackle coming up for St Helens. And it's Roby firing it left to Lewis Dodd. And the halfback gets a high left foot kick downfield. Not very deep, though, and it's taken on the full by Crichton. 22 out from his own goal line, and he returns it into the defence. It was headed up on that occasion by James Bell. 28 out from the Penrith line. He plays the ball, and Cogger feeds the ball towards centre field left, and Brian To'o is put to the ground about 12 metres short of halfway. Also on the field for Penrith, by the way, Jamin Salmon. There are 10 interchange allowed in this World Club Challenge, as the Panthers moving a metre in St Helens territory. They've had enough time in the Saints territory, but haven't been able to hold the ball long enough to create too much pressure, as now there's worries over Taylon May, who's injured after the tackle. 1 metre in Penrith's, St Helens half. Clock stopped with 8 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half. Luke Lewis, and St Helens leading 10 points to 0.
Yeah, I'm trying to see what happened here. Is it a fair tackle, and I think he's just sort of clinching at the back of his knee, so I hope everything's all right. But it was the sign come actually from St Helens players to stop the game from an injury. So hopefully, again, he gets up and we continue to see him on the field, but not good signs there for Penrith.
No, he's down on his back right now, John Gibbs, on that far side.
Yeah, there's some suggestion in the crowd, a bit of an ooh and an ah, that it might have been a hip drop tackle. The last play did come in late, but I think it's okay. It was just a vigorous tackle. He's still being attended to on the halfway over the eastern side of the field. This is as disjointed as I've ever seen Penrith.
Well, they're still worried about Taylon May. He's in a lot of pain over on that eastern side with the trainer. It is play back on. And Penrith are 38 metres out from the St Helens line. Last tackle coming up for them. Played, and Cogger goes right to Cleary. Puts up a high kick. And it's coming down about 11 metres out from the line. It was a very good catch from Percival. And he's caught 15 out from his own line. So 32 and a half gone. St Helens leading Penrith 10 points to 0. Play to Dodd. Comes open side right to Mataudia. And he's wrapped up 24 out from his own line. Isaiah Yeo featured in the defence with Spencer Leniu. Plays it to James Roby. It comes right to Hopewadi in centre field. He's caught 34 metres out from his own line. He'll play the ball. And Roby sends it right to Lomax. Lomax runs the footy, but runs into a solid tackle from Garner and Salmon. About 5 metres short of halfway. 18 in from the eastern touchline. Dummy half Roby. Goes short side to the right, through hands, Wellesby, linked up with support. Tackle made 5 metres in Penrith territory. Sheridan plays it now to Roby. Comes to the left on the last. Dodd the kick from 41 metres out again. Pretty shallow. Crichton underneath it. The challengers are coming. And he got away from the first of them. And coming through there to make the tackle initially was McCarthy Scarsbrook. And Crichton's now tackled 18 out from his own line. And McCarthy Scarsbrook's down. Meanwhile, right up the centre go the Panthers. To'o is tackled 15 metres short of halfway. Ball played. Cogger goes to the right edge. That was the previous runner was Tango, in fact. To'o beats the first attempt from Mataudia, and now taken by Dodd, 5 short of halfway. Penrith with it, trailing 10-0 with 6 minutes 15 left in the half. Cogger goes left away to Isaiah Yeo. Straight and hard he goes into Bell and Roby. Tackled 8 metres in St Helens territory. It was a very good run. Now time off, says referee Ashley Klein.
The trainer's called the game for a head injury.
So this will be for Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. So he's off for an HIA in the 34th minute. So that's 3 players. And Gibbsy, that rule again, if you lose 2 for an HIA, you can trigger an extra replacement.
Yes, you can. That's been one of the changes that when we get time, we'll go through some of those other changes, Andrew. Not many dramatic ones, but that will have an impact over the year for sure.
So it'll be played 9 metres in St Helens territory. And the Panthers spread the ball to the left, looking for a way to crack this brilliant St Helens defence. They haven't found one yet. On the last, Cogger goes right to Cleary. He puts up a high kick. It's coming down towards the left wing, and it's taken beautifully there by Percival. He's cleaned up by the chase, 11 or 12 metres out from the St Helens line. But again, this St Helens defence, Louis, just will not crack.
Yeah, no, they're not. They're not cracking at all. The Panthers aren't throwing as much as what we'd expect to see from them during the year. When I say shape come out of their own end, they're all bunched up inside the tram lines, and they just sort of run one out, dummy half runs, trying to get upfield because they're so frustrated. So well done to St Helens.
Now Roby, he goes to the open side right, and hitting it up now is Jake Wingfield, who's come on the field. As it was going to be a set restart, but now it's a penalty instead going to St Helens. And it's Saints' first penalty of the night, comes in a very handy position. 30 metres out from their own line, 5 left first half. St Helens leading by 10 points to 0.
I just seen Taylor May walking up the sideline. He's going up to the change rooms now just to check on that knee. So I think Luke Garner's gone on the field for him.
It looks like Taruva's gone to the left wing. Jamin Salmon now playing where Taruva was at right centre. I'll tell you what, Gibbsy, look over beyond that eastern grandstand. That is the most dynamic, colourful rainbow I've ever seen.
Andrew, it gives me great pride to announce the rainbow over there. And if you look behind me, you won't be able to see it. It is bright. It is sunny to the western, to the southwest. It is now sunny. It is like something out of some dystopian show. Look out.
St Helens go left to Percival. He dribbles it back on the inside. Great backing up by Roby. He's got it 15 out, with the backdrop being not only the most beautiful rainbow you've ever seen, now lightning, and there's a second rainbow. We've got a double rainbow. It's all happening here at the Riff. St Helens 11 metres out, leading 10 points to 0, 4 minutes before the break. Lewis Dodd sends it back on the inside to Wingfield, and he's caught 7 metres out in front of the post. Last tackle, Saints. It comes from Roby, goes left to Dodd, left foot stab. Lomax chasing through. Crichton got there first, and he's tackled over the dead ball line. Great pressure from St Helens. They'll get the ball back from a line drop out by the Panthers. St Helens 10, Penrith 0, 36 minutes gone.
Yeah, they're doing everything right, St Helens. They're defending well. They're asking questions on both sides of the field. Their front rowers are just getting up, creating really nice play the ball speed there for Roby to get out and pick the way he wants to go. And they come up with a beautiful little set in there, a nice little kick, great kick chase, and another head knock for the Panthers.
Louis, I know Gibbsy's our weather dude. That rainbow, is that not the brightest one you've ever seen?
It is, and a beautiful one building behind it. The colours are quite amazing out there at the moment.
It is spectacular. Is there the equivalent of a Beaufort scale for rainbows, Gibbsy?
Oh, this is top shelf. You know, I'm very privileged to be sitting here in the sideline, but the hue around the ground, the changing hues are unbelievable. There's a line
drop out by Cleary, which is the act of a magician. He pounded along the ground, and it goes over the eastern touchline, which means Penrith will get the footy back. 13 or 14 out from their own line. Pure brilliance from Nathan Cleary.
I think he was aiming for the rainbow. Exactly where it is, look.
He might have needed a bit more height, in fairness, to get over that eastern stand. But it is a crazy old day here at Penrith. In the cricket, India 7 for 174. Asia Patel on 24. Ravi Ashwin is on 10. So they're continuing on. 7 for 174. Still 89 runs behind Australia. There's now Penrith on play 2. It comes right to Zach Hosking. Got away from Morgan Knowles. Now he's tackled by Wingfield and one other Bell. 28 metres out from the Penrith goal line. It's played to Cogger. Goes left to Yeo. Then Setterfield, Leniu. Barnstorming run. Beat 2, now tackled 2 metres short of halfway. Plays the ball out of dummy half Cogger. There was a shove in the play of the ball, and as a result it's a penalty to Penrith, the third penalty for the Panthers. 3-1 the penalty count in their favour. So they'll get a late crack here in the shadows of half-time as Cleary finds touch. 34 out from the St Helens line.
Yeah, very important last 2 minutes here for St Helens. They don't want to left any soft points in here. They want to go in at half-time 10-0 up, and they'll be able to reevaluate. But this is a big set here for the Panthers. I'll keep the pressure on, and I can see Nathan Cleary barking orders.
Now from the restart, Lee New plays. It comes right Yeo away to Eisenhuth. He's tackled. 20 metres out from the St Helens line, just inside 2 minutes to go in the half. Stephen Crichton sprints to the left. Will he get the footy clear? He goes out the back to Stephen Crichton, then plays to Luai with a left foot step into Lomax. He's tackled 15 metres out. Quick play the ball as well out of dummy half Cogger. Sends it right to Cleary. Floats the pass away. And stepping back in field is Eisenhuth into Roby and Ignatius Parsi and one other Dodd. 8 metres out from the St Helens line, right in front of the southern goalpost here at Panthers Stadium. Played to Cogger, goes to his left. Yo away to Cleary to Luai. Luai got the pass on to Tango, but it was read brilliantly in defence. And he's nailed 9 metres out from the goal line. Plays it and it comes to the right. Cleary with a little stab kick. Ricochet dived on by the St Helens replacement, Jake Wingfield. And Saints survive again as Gibbsy, this weird coloured sky continues to change by the second. Saints have a 12 out from their own line.
And the rain continues to fall, Andrew. And just on that point that you raised earlier, just as well the Penrith players are familiar to us because the grey numbers are absolutely invisible.
I'm glad it's not just me, Gibbsy.
And because it's blending into the rainbow and all of the different colours around the ground, you cannot see them.
There is a glow in the sky currently. 10-0 St Helens, 45 seconds left before the break. Saints have it 7 short of halfway. Roby sends it left, chipped by Lewis Dodd. He's going to get there first, kicked it into Crichton, ricocheting all over the place, and diving on the ball is the oldest bloke on the field, James Roby. What an effort by him. 32 out from the goal line, 30 seconds left, it's still the last. Lewis Dodd a high kick to the wing of To'o. Up he goes, he and Percival collide. Bounces down for Jamin Salmon, and Penrith have the footy. 8 out from their own line with 20 seconds to go in the first half. 10-0 to St Helens. It's played to Crichton. Goes left to Brian To'o. Evaded the first one. Knowles now taken by Roby. This bloke's engine is incredible, James Roby. Jerome Luai gets 10 out from his own line and caught one right around the chin. He got a whack right on the chops, Jerome Luai. And as the siren sounds, it will be a penalty for Penrith, albeit just 10 metres out from their own line. Yeah. Luai's okay, rather. Louis, he's back to his feet.
Yeah, he's up. He knew he got a little clip there. It was Curtis Siren, and he just put his arm up a little bit high. He knew as soon as he went in, he tried to pull out, but still got a bit of a whack on. But be interesting to see what they're going to do here, the Panthers.
He got his whack on, didn't
he? Yeah, he sort of got just a little bit of a touch, which was enough to give the penalty.
Penrith find touch on halfway, and it's Cleary from the tap. He sends it into the multicoloured sky. It's going to be allowed to bounce by everybody. Recovered by Percival for St Helens. He'll be tackled. 31 out from his own line, and that ends the first half. And St Helens go into the sheds with a much-deserved 10-0 lead. For St Helens, a try to their fullback Jack Wellesby in the 9th minute and to Conrad Hurrell in the 16th minute. Tommy Makerson, 1 goal from 2 attempts, and he's also spent time getting his head injury assessed. James Roby on report for a high tackle as well in the 30th minute. How many restarts? 1 for St Helens. For Penrith, nothing doing. They've had 2 restarts. Penrith leads the penalty count 4-1, but Luke Lewis, St Helens on the back of some great defence and at times exhilarating attack, lead by 10 points to 0.
Yeah, a bit of a different Penrith side at the moment that I'm seeing out there, but you've got to give credit to St Helens. They're running harder, they're tackling harder, they're beating Penrith to the punch on everything. Every time there's a loose ball on the floor, St Helens are on it. They're scrambled defence. Penrith made a couple of breaks, especially over on that left edge towards Taylor May and Isaac Tago, but the scramble defence, they just keep coming up with the right plays, stopping them, and when they get the ball down their end, they're willing just to roll their sleeves up, run hard and direct and kick long and wait for Penrith to make a mistake. And at the moment, Penrith are the ones making all the mistakes. And I don't feel like they're looking like they've got the flow and the class at the moment to get the ball where it needs to get to. They're really off at the moment, the Penrith Panthers.
Breaking news.
What's that?
On the weather front. Rainbow's gone.
There'll be a new one.
Rain getting heavier. Some weird glow above the ground. Johnny Gibbs on the touchline. What did you make of all of that and the first half of footy?
Yeah, it's the rainbow is fainted at the northeastern side, and it is still raining, but you boys can't see it, but to the southwest, you can see this incredible orange glow, and then in the distance you can see the light blue sky, with nothing on it. So it is absolutely incredible. What is incredible also is that St Helens are leading 10-0, but they...
What is that umbrella you've got now, Gibbsy? You had the big butch blue and white one. Now you've got is that a Penrith one? It's tiny.
No, it's tiny. It was... I got a couple of complaints from the crowd behind me, so I got a smaller umbrella. But Tommy Makinson, incredibly, he was blowing up. He's been ruled out of the game. So he's failed his HIA. So that is some early news there. So that is a blow to St Helens. But there's no wind now. So they had the breeze at their back in the first half. Conditions are now still. So at the start of the game, on the Beaufort scale, the wind was between 5 and 6. It's now 0. This is incredible. This has been an amazing 40 minutes. And Penrith, they've been rattled. You've got to give credit to St Helens because they've bustled right from the opening whistle when Liotta was forced into an error by Matty Lees. He lost the ball. Thunder is going off, reverberating there in the background as well right now. But they're going to have to pull out something specially because St Helens are right on top. But Ivan Cleary will speak to his champion side and see if they can rectify things in the second half. But just repeating, Andrew, the rain is still falling, and you'll see now it is coming straight down. There is not a sniff of breeze.
It's zephyrless. Half-time, 10-0 St Helens lead Penrith in the cricket late on day. Well, there's still 37 overs to be bowled. India 7 for 179. In reply to Australia's first innings of 263, so Australia still in front by 84. Ajay Patel 28, Ravi Ashwin is not out 11. Nathan Lyon not currently in the attack, but he has a 5-wicket haul. In fact, his figures are 20 overs, 3 maidens, 5 for 41 over in Delhi. On the SMS, Andy's starting to sound like Dr. Elliott talking about the full moon. Want to worry about where you're going to, says Blind Mark. Well, it's not the full moon, it's the rainbows. They've been extraordinary. Neil says your in-depth discussion on rainbows, atmospheric conditions and rugby league shows how talented your commentary team really is. Thank you, Neil. Simon says, how about there being a double rainbow right during Pride Week? So good, says Simon. That would be great timing. Brian from Tweed Heads, is the Broncos-Cowboys game being broadcast at 8? No, it isn't. I'm sorry, Brian. Not on here anyway. All the best for your calling this season. Look forward to it. Cheers, Brian. We can't wait as well. Half-time in the World Club Challenge with Luke Lewis, John Gibbs. I'm Andrew Moore on Grandstand Rugby League through ABC Sport. We'll be back for the second half of the World Club Challenge right now, though. We go to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with David Rowlands. Nationals frontbencher Barnaby Joyce has described the campaign for a voice to Parliament as a schmozzle, predicting the proposal will fail at a referendum. The Prime Minister has today attended a community barbecue in Sydney where he's urged all Australian political leaders to back the idea. However, Mr Joyce says there's far too little detail at this stage and the voice will simply divide the country.
It's just a schmozzle. I mean, what exactly are we voting for? We apparently are going to... This is sort of a buy now, pay later referendum where we buy now and later on we find out exactly what we bought.
The Victorian Liberal leader, John Pasuto, says he's focusing on unity after former leader Matthew Guy attacked senior Liberals over last year's election loss. Mr Guy told 9 newspapers that party president Greg Mirabella is factional and juvenile and should step down for the sake of the party. Mr Pasuto says he's looking to the future.
It's really important as a political party that suffered a third loss to be constantly looking at reviewing what went wrong, but also looking at opportunities for the future. So it's continuous improvement and continuous review.
Health authorities say mosquito-borne viruses remain a risk for residents in Victoria's north after the state recorded its first Murray Valley encephalitis death in almost 50 years. The woman from the Balukshire in the state's northwest died earlier this month, prompting warnings from authorities to avoid mosquito bites. Murray Valley encephalitis, Japanese encephalitis and West Nile virus have all been detected in mosquitoes in northern Victoria this season. Deputy Chief Health Officer Deborah Friedman says while a vaccine is available against Japanese encephalitis, there isn't one for the Murray Valley strain.
That vaccine is only going to prevent infection with Japanese encephalitis virus, and therefore it doesn't change the preventive measures that people need to take to not get bitten by mosquitoes.
A line of severe thunderstorms with damaging winds is moving across Sydney this evening. Gusts of more than 100 kilometres per hour have been recorded in Mossvale in the southern Highlands, while hail measuring 2.5 centimetres was reported near Gunning. Gabrielle Woodhouse from the Bureau of Meteorology says strong gusts will continue over the coming hours.
This does cover parts of Bowral and Wollongong, but also moving into Picton and Camden in the southwest of Sydney, as well as another thunderstorm cell to the north of Richmond that's headed to the backside of Gosford and Wyong.
The US says 30,000 paramilitary fighters with the Wagner Group have been killed or wounded since the war began in Ukraine almost a year ago. The White House says about 9,000 Wagner fighters have been killed in action in the past few weeks alone. It says most casualties are poorly trained convicts recruited from Russian jails. Moscow launched its invasion of Ukraine in February of last year. The Philippines president says the Chinese Coast Guard's use of a military-grade laser that briefly blinded crew members aboard a Philippines patrol boat in the disputed South China Sea wasn't enough for him to invoke a mutual defence treaty with the US. Ferdinand Marcos Jr. says, however, he's told China that the aggression should stop. He says he's also reminded Beijing that escalating incursions by Chinese naval forces violate an agreement he struck with President Xi Jinping earlier last month. Earlier, he told military alumni in the capital Manila that the Philippines won't lose an inch of its territory as maritime tensions continue in the South China Sea. The government of the South African nation of Suriname has condemned violent protests in the national capital. Dozens of protesters forced their way into the parliament and hundreds more rampaged on the streets nearby, following clashes with police that saw demonstrations descend into chaos. Thousands of people had turned out for initially peaceful demonstrations against government austerity measures. Police say poor behaviour won't be tolerated at tonight's A-League match, which will see Melbourne City taking on Melbourne Victory for the first time since last year's violent pitch invasion. Zala Charisma reports.
The derby incident last December saw 150 Victory fans storm the field and attack players and officials, prompting the heaviest financial sanction in A-League history, with Melbourne Victory fined more than $500,000 over the incident. With the two teams back at Amy Park again tonight, police say they'll be closely monitoring fan behaviour and warn they will take swift action against any antisocial or criminal conduct.
This is ABC News.
We are one.
But we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. We share a dream and sing with one voice.
You're listening to ABC Radio.
I am, you are, we are Australian. We are Australian, yeah!
ABC Sports coverage of the World Club Challenge. The Penrith Panthers versus St Helens.
Alex Walmsley runs into Liotta, bounced away from Garner. Plays at 22 out from his own line to Roby. Goes to his right to Lomax, then quick hands away. They make a breakdown field over halfway, over the 40, back on the inside, backing up. For St Helens looks to be Wellsby, the fullback, and he's able to score the first try for St Helens after 8.5 minutes. Then he trips over the in-goal area, but great backing up from Jake Wellsby as St Helens goes 70 metres to score the opening try of the night. 12 metres out from the line and 16 in from touch on the eastern side. James Roby, dummy half, short side raid. It goes to Wellsby to Conrad Hurrell, and he's still built like a brick house. Conrad Hurrell, you're not going to stop him from there. He's able to score. St Helens celebrate. The Saints are out to a 10-0 lead with a kick to come.
Grandstand Rugby League.
The Penrith Panthers versus St Helens for the World Club Challenge on ABC Sport.
As the rain is bucketing down again here at Panthers Stadium, John Gibbs has just made an appearance in the box. He's got the wettest bum you'd ever seen in your life, the poor chap, and he's heading back down to the sideline. Ralph Tucker's got the good umbrella at the moment, our producer, and Gibbs has got this tiny little thing. It looks like a postage stamp as he look at him going down the stairs. Oh dear, we'll hear from Gibbsy again very, very soon. It is half-time in the World Club Challenge with St Helens leading Penrith by 10 points to 0 here at Panthers Stadium. Crowd of around 10 or 11,000. Again, earlier today, it was 40 degrees. It was the hottest Sydney day in 3 or 4 years. Then it started to rain about 4 o'clock, 4:30. Cooled down 4 or 5 degrees. Rained for about an hour, then the sun came out, Louis. It was hot again, and now it's rained throughout this entire game. We've seen lightning, heard thunder, seen the most beautiful, stunning rainbow that's ever existed. There was a double rainbow, there's a glow in the sky, there was blue sky, and now it's just dark and bucketing down.
I'll tell you one thing I'm loving, though. The fans are all down there loving it, dancing and singing to the song we can hear in the background, if you can hear it.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, how good is it? Look at them all singing and having fun. There's lights everywhere. They're having a ball out there at the moment, so hopefully the Panthers can come back in the second half and turn around for them.
They've been pretty hot most of the day, so this has probably been a nice relief for them. I don't know about for you, John Gibbs. How is it down there, mate?
No, it's still raining, and I wish you boys could see the sky at the southern end of the ground. It is remarkable, and there's birds flying over. It's like something out of a movie. It is really extraordinary, and that's complete contrast to that northern end, which is pitch black now. The rainbows have disappeared, and my program, you reckon my backside's wet, you just have a program. It is paper mache. So all of these players have melted into one now, so we'll make do, though. We can see the St Helens players because their names are on their back, and there's plenty of familiar faces anyway. I'd like to give a rap to Jack Wellesby. I know that Dylan Edwards is not playing, and he would have loved the opportunity, Wellesby, to play against Dylan Edwards. Crichton's going okay, but tough conditions for a fullback. He's come up with some great defence and scored a brilliant first try.
Yeah, he's been terrific, Louis. We're talking about it while the news was on. He and Roby and a couple of the forwards have really stood out for St Helens.
Yeah, absolutely. I reckon the two front rows for St Helens have really put their hand up, especially coming out of their own end. The tough carries, they're just running hard and direct, and they're not trying to promote the ball. They're just willing to get down and get a quick play of the ball. But then you've got Wellesby at the back. He's come up with a couple of try saves. He scored a great try. He set up Conrad Harold down the short side. He's looking to insert himself in the game everywhere on the field. He's chasing every kick. He's having a great game out there. But then, obviously, James Roby, you know what he's like. He's going to turn up every game. Every loose ball that is on the floor, he seems to be there. He knows exactly where it's going to be, comes up with the right play, dives straight on it. So, yeah, some real quality players for the St Helens side at the moment.
They call him the English Cameron Smith, don't they, James Roby?
And you can see why.
Yep, you can. He's been terrific to see live. And again, there's a story, he spoke to the media yesterday about how good an NRL player he would have been, but never really tempted. He's just been happy with his lot in life, apparently, especially the older he's become with a young family. He's very good at switching off when he's not involved in playing or training, gets home and just takes it easy. And the benefits there at 37.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to sort of think about it too. When I was here playing, I never really thought about going overseas. I reckon he's in the same boots. Like he's over there, he's playing some outstanding football. He's played in a whole lot of grand finals. I think it's 11 grand finals and won 10. Why would you want to leave? You've got your family, you've got everyone else over there, you're enjoying it. You played up over 520 games, looking at 550, and maybe continue to play next year as well. And the way that he's playing at the moment, he's not looking like he's missing a beat at all.
Now, I've got some breaking news here about the weather on a serious front. Penrith, by the way, in that first half had 56% of the ball, yet held scoreless. This game is being delayed because of lightning, John Gibbs.
Yeah, so they're delaying the start of the second half, so the players are staying inside the sheds, and it's already overtime now. So the rain's still coming down, but that electrical activity is in the vicinity of Penrith, so they've obviously got the radar out there. They're using that in conjunction with the Kestrel machine, and they've declared that they'll stay in the dressing rooms for a little while longer. So it's nothing to do with the rain, but it's just because of the electrical activity in and around Penrith.
All right, thank you, Gibbsy. Kestrel machine gets another workout. And Louis, about 10 minutes before we went to air, you were asked for a prediction, and you said this game will be delayed at some point because of lightning.
Yeah, no, I actually said hail.
Oh, hail.
Hail, but...
so you're wrong.
No. Well, I said lightning and hail, but I said it would be delayed. I don't know what it was. I could see the colour of the sky.
Could you see it where Gibbsy reckons we can't see it?
Yes, I could. It's purple out one side and it's yellow down the other and pitch black on the other side. So, yeah, look, it's crazy though. I haven't seen lightning since the one that you were speaking about. And then they've called the game off, delayed the game now. So, I find it bizarre, but...
Well, that again, as Gibbsy said, they've loaded it into the Kestrel machine and it's obviously in the area showing up on the radar.
How do you load it in?
I don't know. It's just a lot of data. I think Gibbsy from now on will be involved in the processing of the data and the input of the data to come up with all of the results, and it's got to involve some Beaufort scale at some point, where I believe just before kickoff, Gibbs, you were at a 6 with the Beaufort scale, went down to 5. It'd be 0 now, wouldn't it?
It'd be 0. It is 0, and all of the boffins from the NRL are getting their heads together and deciding when we go out. There's a big ooh, because there was a...
Just behind you it was, Gibbsy, down in that northeast corner this time.
I'll tell you what, if we fed my data into the Kessel machine, I'll be in the car on the way home by now.
You hang in there.
I will.
What a start. You got 31 rounds to come.
I want to ask you, how long could we expect the delay? Could it go 10 minutes, 20
Well, no, they've officially said 5-minute delay.
5-minute delay?
Yes.
I was going to say, because I'd hate to be a player, wet, eyed, going in at half-time, getting the fatigue sort of kicking right in, and then trying to come run back out after 20, 25 minutes in the change room. It would be hard.
Well, the NRL has told us it's a 5-minute delay, but obviously, Gibbsy, if things don't change and the electrical activity remains in the area, they'll stay in the sheds.
Well, they're on the phone at the moment, so they're...
Who to?
I'm not quite sure whether they've got a direct line to Andrew Abdo or Peter Volandis, I'm not quite sure, or to the Bureau of Meteorology. Bomb.
They don't want to be called that anymore.
That's why I'm calling it that, because
they get cranky.
This has been absolutely incredible the way things have gone. If you said to me when I left home that these were going to be the conditions, I would have...
We wouldn't have seen you.
No, well, you would have. I love it, and it's not cold. That's the good news, although my backside's getting a little bit...
I reckon you would have brought Julianne's jacket.
Oh, Julianne's blue jacket, yes.
It's not Julianne. She's given it to me, and I bought her a new one. So that officially is mine. So can you stop perpetuating that mistruth?
Hey, Andrew and crew, no wonder the sky looks amazing. ABC Radio Weather just said huge storms are closing in on Sydney and the Highlands, and Rangers are being pelted by big hail. Sounds like a typical Queensland thunderstorm hitting you guys from Brant in the wet season at Port Douglas. Yes, thank you, Brant.
Maybe the hail will come.
Yes, well, we can only hope. All I hope, Louis, can I be selfish here just for a moment, is that it stops raining when we walk to the car park.
Just a 3-minute break.
Just for 3 minutes, Gibbsy.
They just hit the 2-minute bell, so they'll be back in 120 seconds.
Nice. Mark says, Moore is definitely now the comedy box, not the commentary box, and hail the mighty Gibbsy. Well, as long as he doesn't have to dodge and weave the hail here at Panthers Stadium, let's hope that's correct. 10-0, St Helens leads Penrith. Earlier today in the Charity Shield at Mudgee, South Sydney 42 defeated St George Illawarra 24. We had a New South Wales Cup trial here. For what it's worth, Penrith defeated the Roosters 28-4 after it was 4 all at half-time. I'll go through quickly what's coming your way in round 1 of the new season because it starts on Thursday week. We'll be on air from 7 p.m. on Thursday, March the 2nd at Western Sydney Stadium, and the opening game of the season, Parramatta against the Melbourne Storm. Just quickly, Louis, what are your expectations about the Melbourne Storm? I was going through their roster the other day and some of the changes to their personnel, and I've fallen into the old trap again of thinking they can't possibly be as good as they had been the last few years. We've said that often, and they continue to prove us wrong. Will they again?
Yeah, well, they've proved me wrong every time I've said it, so I'm sticking with them. I reckon they'll be up there. They're flying under the radar. No one's talking about the Melbourne Storm at all, which is scary when you've got someone like Craig Bellamy. So, yeah, look, I'm going to stick with them to make the top 8 and really push up in the semi-finals there. Be pushing for a prelim final for sure.
We will be doing the traffic light game on opening night on March the 2nd to work out where we think teams will go. But you look at the losses for Melbourne. Felice Kafusi, Brandon Smith, Jesse and Kenny Bromwich, David Nofaluma, who they picked up on loan from the West Tigers, and Cooper Johns, who's now at Manly Warringah. Kafusi and Jesse Bromwich looked like they were a yard or two slower last year than at the peak of their career, so I get why they let them go. Kenny Bromwich I wouldn't put in that boat, and certainly not Brandon Smith. It'll be interesting to see the impact he has on the Roosters. But that's the first game of the season, Parramatta against Melbourne. Then on the first, Friday night, March the 3rd, on air from 6 p.m, actually 5:30 p.m. on digital radio again, with a preview of the Warriors-Newcastle game at 6 p.m. That's Australian Eastern Daylight Time, as players are coming back now for the delayed second half. And then we'll be back here for the game at 8:05 Australian Eastern Daylight, 7:05 Queensland time, Penrith against Brisbane. Then on the opening Saturday, from 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight till 7:35, it's Manly Warringah beat Canterbury Bankstown at Brookvale. Then in Townsville, North Queensland plays Canberra, and the nightcap, Cronulla Sutherland against South Sydney. And then on the Sunday, the Dolphins make their debut with a 4:05 or 3:05 game at Lang Park against the Sydney Roosters. And Louis, myself and Gibbsy will be at Leichhardt Oval at 6:15, West Tigers and Gold Coast. Changes in personnel. Pleased to report and announce that Ryan Hoffman, Louis' former representative teammate, and of the Melbourne Storm and the Warriors, he joins the Grandstand Rugby League team this year as our Melbourne Storm expert and co-commentator. So can't wait to listen to and work with Ryan through the course of the year. And Connor Watson, who we heard in the All-Stars game last week, he will join us at least for these 5 or 6 weeks with long Sunday shows and so on. Louis, he'll be on with us for those pre-game shows over the first 5 or 6 weeks as he recovers from that awful ruptured patella tendon.
I just hope he's got a couple of good little practical jokes to Gibbsy and we'll be fine.
Kick-off taken by Will Hopewadi, and he's put to the ground 18 out from his own line. He thought it was interesting working with Matt Elliott last Saturday in the boardroom. I said, mate, you've seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing yet. As now St Helens on play 2. They're hitting the ball up through the replacement forward, and Wingfield's tackle, 22 out from his own line, plays it to Roby. Short ball comes left, and here's a bone-jarring tackle on Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook, so he must have passed his HIA, as did the winger Makinson, as now Knowles gets the ball away left to Bell. He's tackled 15 short of halfway. St Helens with it as we start this second half that was delayed 5 minutes because of lightning, as Knowles sends it inside to Ignatius Parsi. He stands and delivers to Roby. He's rounded up by Eisenhuth. Got a pass away in the tackle as well. Kick downfield by Wellesby. Over the head of Crichton. He got a hand to it. Ashley Klein says knock on from Stephen Crichton. Now, initially, Ash Klein's hands went in a backwards direction, and then he quickly did a dipsy-doodle and pointed the right way to signify a knock-on. So the error from Penrith after a bit of a nothing set from St Helens, but they'll have a scrum feed. 18 out from the Penrith line, a minute 10 gone second half. St Helens 10, Penrith 0.
Yeah, it was a nice little bit of passage of play, a couple of nice little offloads, but a smart thinking to get the ball, straighten his hand, kick it long downfield. You knew Stephen Crichton wasn't really expecting it, couldn't get his body in the right position to take that catch, and it come up perfectly there for St Helens. This is exactly how they started the first half. Their very first set in the Panthers area, attacking their line.
So scrum fed right in front of those southern goalposts. Won by Roby, goes to his left to Lomax, linked up with support to Matauti here, and the ball has, oh no, it's a penalty against Penrith for being offside. So the first penalty of the second half goes to St Helens, only their second penalty of the night. They lead 10-0, 2 gone second half, and what a chance from 11 metres out. And John Gibbs, they've indicated that they'll take the 2 points.
Yeah, because there's not a differential anymore. That's one of those changes too. So they could opt to have another scrum, or they can go for the 2 points. Now, just to clarify things, Mitch Kenny has passed his HIA, as did Zach Hosking, and Tommy Makinson, who will be taking a shot at goal, Andrew, he went off in controversial circumstances, or so he thought. Well, he's failed, officially failed his HIA, so he won't be there. And Taylor May, the news on him is he has a knee injury. They're not going to risk him. He's suspended anyway. So Taylor May, you won't see him back until round 3.
Gee, yeah, that's right, because of suspension. So thank you, Gibbsy. It'll be Mark Percival to take the shot with Tommy Makinson off the field. He doesn't even know where to take the kick. And he's going back 21 out from the goal line at about 10 in from the eastern touchline. This is the most uncertain lead up to a goal kick attempt, Louis, I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think the communication where they wanted to take him, he sort of come down, he was infield a bit, and he was trying to get the mark right, but they finally got it right. Percival's lining it up as we speak, so he's a pretty good kicker, Percival.
Well, so far in body language, I'm not supporting you. In the cricket, India 7 for 185. Ajar Patel 28. Ravi Ashwin 13. They're still 78 runs behind. This is all in the first innings on day 2. So Percival to give St Helens a 12-0 lead. Can he prove Louis' tots up right? He's 10 in from the eastern touchline with the Lightning as the backdrop. Strikes it, likes it, kicks the goal. And it's now St Helens up by 2 converted tries. St Helens 12, Penrith 0 here in the World Club Challenge on the SMS. Dave is in New York. Great call, gents. Wonderful to hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Moore, Louis and Gibbsy. Love it. Thank you, Dave, and thanks for going to the trouble to tune in over there on the other side of the world, mate. We appreciate it. G'day, boys. After listening to Gibbsy's detailed description of the changing weather, he must want to join the ABC News team as a Weatherman Seniors correspondent, says the chief. Don't know about that, but let's go down to the man in the tiniest umbrella that ever did exist.
Well, I can't believe that you doubted that Mark Percival would kick that goal. These conditions are absolutely incredible. Storm Boy, a famous Australian book by Colin Teal, Percival was a pelican in that book in Storm Boy, so of course he was going to kick it.
He could work with us with that nickname. So we've got Storm Boy reference today. Who was the dude you mentioned earlier when you were talking about? Was it Dirk Harthog?
And Abel Tasman.
And Abel Tasman. Here's the St Helens side with it. Roby sends the ball away, open side left. They have it just over their 30-metre line as the tackle comes in now on Sirenen. It's played and Morgan Knowles the lock. He's in centre field. Gained about 8 or 9 metres. Stands in the tackle. 11 short of halfway. St Helens 12. Penrith 0. 4 minutes 30 gone in the World Club Challenge. Now in centre field goes Parsi. He's caught 2 metres short of halfway. Last tackle now for St Helens. The ball played to Roby. Goes a wide blindside left to Lewis Dodd. High left foot kick into the clouds and into the rain for Crichton. Backtracking, he catches it on the fall. Then produced a big left foot step, but it can't beat Mataudia or Percival. And down he goes. Storm Boy made the tackle. 12 out from the Penrith line. And what can the Panthers do here, Louis? Trailing by 12 points to nil as To'o. He's tackled 15 out from his own line.
Yeah, look, for me, the Panthers just got to go back to what they did very well in the last couple of years, and it's just get down to their halfway line, get Nathan Cleary kicking right into that corner and waiting for the St Helens side to make a mistake. But at the moment, St Helens are doing the Panthers to the Panthers.
Now Kenny back on the field, plays the ball to Crichton, goes left. Stepping run here coming for Isaiah Yeo. Tackled 3 metres in St Helens territory. Last tackle here for Penrith. They're down 12 block. 5 minutes 30 gone second half. And Cleary with an end-over-end kick. It's allowed to bounce by the Saints. 18 out from their own line. Wellsby comes across the fullback, picks it up, beats the first almost of Kenny, who comes back at him. 21 metres out from the St Helens line. Saints lead 12-0. The first 2 tries coming in the opening 16 minutes of the game. As now it's Hopewati on the right edge. He's caught 27 out from his own line and 10 in from the western touchline. Played to Lomax. Goes left to Conrad Hurrell. Runs right across field. Still with his bulk and his strength, he gets over the 30-metre line and he'll play it. 31 out from his own line. St Helens running left to right as we look at it here from our broadcast box at Panthers Stadium. And now they beat a couple of tackles. The Saints get within 8 of halfway, and that was Percival. Played to Roby. Goes right to Parsi. Hits it up towards halfway. Garner involved in the tackle. And on the last, St Helens have it 2 short of the halfway paint, leading 12 points to nil. As Roby goes left to Lewis Dodd, and the Saints halfback kicks it downfield to Crichton. Fields a 10 out from his own line, down on one knee. And then he'll return it close to the 20 where he runs into the chase. And he'll play it 21 metres out from his own line. And Louis, Saints are ending every set of 6 the exact same way, keeping Penrith under pressure.
And they're not doing too much coming out their own end. They know what the weather's like. They know what they need to do to execute. And they're just going one out, strong carry straight up the middle of the field. And they know where they want to get to. They've got both sides set up for a kick. If they go left and there's a bit of pressure, they know they can flick it to the right. And Lewis could come up with a great kick. So they're doing everything right at the moment, St Helens.
Now Yo in centre field at first receiver. Stepped in field. Got a pass away to Eisenhuth. He runs with a Parsi. And also in there for Saints is Wingfield. Now it comes to the left. Spencer Leniu with a strong run. He's caught 9 metres in St Helens territory. Last tackle Panthers. They're down 12-0 after 8 minutes or 7 minutes of the second half. High kick coming from Cleary. Wellsby under it. Wellsby catches it. And Luai makes the grass-cutting tackle. 15 out from his own line. He's been quiet, Luai, hasn't he? That left edge lacking the imposing Billy Army kick out.
I feel like I haven't seen him out there tonight, Jerome Luai. So he's having not too much of an impact on this game, but I reckon he is missing his big mate out there for sure.
Ignatius Parsi off, Walmsley back on. That's the 4th of 10 interchanges for St Helens. As now comes away to Curtis Sirenen on the right side. He's tackled 9 short of halfway. 8 in from touch, western side. Roby goes left to Walmsley, and he's caught right on the halfway stripe. He'll play it on the last tackle to Roby. Goes left to Dodd. And Lewis Dodd puts the kick downfield again to Crichton. Backtracks all the way almost to the goal line. He'll have to return the footy, however. Brings it back to the 10-metre line, and that's where he's met. He'll play it 16 out from his own line for Penrith. 12-0 for St Helens. Touchline we go. John Gibbs.
Well, that was another great kick and really good chase, and it's a straight line from St Helens. They're putting the kick up. Stephen Crichton, he's having a devil of a job. He's been put under enormous pressure. They need to hang on to the ball and be patient because there's plenty of time. Still 31 and a half minutes to go, and it's only 2 converted tries.
So now Penrith right on halfway. Ball's played to Kenny. From dummy half, he goes left to Yo. Yo steamrollers into the defensive Roby. Tackle about 14 metres in St Helens half. Last tackle for Penrith. They're down 12-0 with just over 31 minutes to go. Comes right to Cleary. He puts up a high kick to the left wing. And the ball is allowed to be taken by the Panthers, but they can't do anything with it. And it'll be a changeover 19 metres out from the St Helens line. The catch was taken there quite well by Jamin Salmon for Penrith. It'll be a play the ball. He won the contest there with Percival. So now a couple of changes coming for St Helens. Quickly back on the field comes Jake Wingfield. The Saints are just short of their 30, leading 12-0. Boy, that was a massive display of lightning behind the eastern stand. And you wonder if we weren't allowed on earlier, why we're allowed on at the moment. Raby comes to the right. And Wingfield's caught 10 metres short of halfway. He'll play the ball to Raby. It's all St Helens here in the World Club Challenge. Lomax turns it into Sirenen. One-handed pass off the deck for Wellesby. Wellesby put the fend on, but he can't beat the defence. And he'll play it 4 metres short of halfway. So to Raby. Flat pass to his left, Walmsley. Gain 10 metres. 9 metres in Penrith's half is where he plays on the last. Raby goes left to Dodd. Dodd puts up another high kick. Crichton's tracking it. Up he flies. Ball is dropped by Percival, I fancy. Tap back for St Helens, but it is a knock-on by Percival. So it's a change over to Penrith. But again, Louis, deep in their own territory. 18 out from their own line.
Yeah, well, this whole 10 minutes, they've just been exchanging sets. So it's the first team to break is probably going to get the first opportunity to put some points on the board in the second half. But this is what we call an arm wrestle. It's just back and forth at the moment. No one giving, I suppose, any team anything at the moment. So really good footy being played considering the weather.
So now Penrith earns a penalty. 25 out from their own line inside the 10 St Helens, and that remains a penalty while it's inside your own 40-metre area. So the Panthers pick up their 5th penalty of the night, and via Cleary they find touch on halfway. Rob on the Gold Coast says, "Evening, gents. Great to hear you back on the radio. Did I hear Gibbsy say the differential penalty is no more?" Yeah, that's the choice now, Gibbsy, isn't it? You can repack the scrum or you can take the 2.
Yeah, it's a full penalty now. So if you're inside the 10 from the scrum, if you're offside, you can take the 2 as St Helens did. And also another change, Andrew, if the scrum, so if you're attacking and you hold the ball in trying to catch the opposition offside, you'll be penalised. You're not allowed to hold the ball in the back of the scrum anymore.
Isaiah goes left to Cleary. Kick up the top. Taruba. He's flying through the PG and St Helens got there first. Didn't look it dead. That'll be a try to Isaac Tango. Ashley Klein points to the spot. 11 minutes 30 gone, second half of the great kick by Cleary. Great chase by Taruba, but he got a wicked bounce, and diving on the footy in the end for the Panthers is Isaac Tango. 11 minutes 30 gone, second half. St Helens 12, Penrith 4, kick to come Panthers. Great kick by Cleary, great backing up by Tango.
Yeah, beautiful vision, wasn't it, there by Nathan Cleary? You could see that the St Helens players are up. They would have got that message in at half-time. St Helens' line's been right up and in, shutting down the Panthers' attack. Nathan Cleary made him pay on this occasion, gets the kick right. But Taruba, he just couldn't get to the ball, but bounced funny for him. And Isaac Tango, the man on the spot, has had to put it down, gets it down with 2 hands and scores a try. They're back in the game.
Let's go to the touchline again, John Gibbs.
Well, that was incredible. A beautiful kick from Nathan Cleary because he realised they were up flat. He put the kick over the top, a beautifully placed kick, chip kick, and through they came. Now, Taruba was going to score for all money, but I think it might have been Jack Wellesby who came and incredibly got there before Taruba tried to push the ball away, but there was more troops in the form of Isaac Tango who was able to score the try. But that was desperately needed. Still 27 and a half to go. An important kick coming up right in front of me now from Nathan Cleary. 6 points with a long time to go. It's going to be a grandstand finish.
Isaac Tango, 13 tries in 26 games last year. Here's Nathan Cleary, 20 metres out, 19 metres in from the western touchline. In 17 games a year ago, 165 points. Here comes Cleary, moves in, he strikes it, he likes it, he's kicked the goal. Penrith draw to within 6 and Helens 12, Penrith 6. And I should point out as well that it is golden point rules. If this game is level after 80 minutes, it will go to golden point extra time. I reckon 3 hours ago, that would have been the worst possible result for the players, Louis, when it was just under 40 degrees.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they wouldn't mind.
Probably still not your desired result when it's for a lot of these guys, especially Penrith, their first game of the year.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to go to extra time, you don't have to, but I'd rather be going in this kind of weather than the 40-degree heat.
In the cricket, India, slow progress, 7 for 193, 70 runs behind with Patel on 33 and Ashwin on 16. And stay 2 in Delhi. In Enjoyed listening to that on the ABC Listen app on the drive out here this afternoon, listening to Corby and Jeff Lemon and Prakash with Dinesh Kartik in commentary and Dirk now. Sonny Gavaskar. It's been brilliant to listen to. They've done a great job as Penrith has the ball from the kick-off. 12 out from their own goal line. Mitch Kenny, dummy half, goes to Taruva, the flying Fijian, and he's tackled 22 out from his own goal line. Just under 27 minutes to go here on Grandstand Rugby League with Luke Lewis, John Gibbs. I'm Andrew Moore. It's been a dramatic backdrop with the sky and conditions here at Panthers Stadium, and the footy's been good as well despite all the rain. Kenny, he sends it to the right edge on this occasion, and the tackle is made on Hosking, 5 short of halfway. Plays it to Kenny, goes to his left to Yo in centre field to Cleary, then through hands to Jerome Luai running off Garner, away to Tango, ducks into Hurrell, beat him, finished off by Lomax. 23 out from the goal line, 5 in for the western touchline. Taruva goes right to Cleary on the last. A high kick from 38 metres out. Percival charging after it, but the ball bounces into his hands, and St Helens have it 20 metres out from their own line. It's St Helens 12, Penrith 6, 14 gone second half. But Gibbs, you can tell the incentive and the extra wind behind them in terms of their efforts in that set of 6 after scoring points.
Yeah, they've got the spring in their step, Andrew. There's no doubt about that, because it's been a game that's been dominated by St Helens. They've been on the back foot incredibly, Penrith. They had an early chance in the match, didn't take that. Wellesby scored a try against the run of play, and since then it's been all St Helens, but there's a better body language now, a better spirit being shown by the Panthers.
Hopewadi tackles for St Helens, 16 short of halfway. Play to Roby, and the crowd's engaged again. Comes away left to Walmsley, and the front row is claimed 9 short of halfway with 2 tackles left for St Helens. It's played to Roby, spins it away left to Lewis Dodd. He turns it back on the inside to supporters. St Helens have it through Bell, and he's tackled 5 metres short of halfway. Last tackle coming up for the Saints. Bell plays the ball to Roby, comes to the left to Dodd, clear and kick again. It's a shallow one this time, angled to the right wing, and they, it's a good catch facing his own goal line by Jamin Salmon. He's got it for Penrith, 25 out from his own line, 15 gone second half. St Helens leading Penrith by 12-6 as To'o. He's going to be caught from first receiver, 10 metres short of halfway for the Panthers.
Yeah, well, they've flipped the switch here, haven't they, the Panthers? They're really starting to apply some pressure with their defence. They've got to shape both sides of the ruck. They can shift it to the left and right. There's a whole lot of space out wide, so they're really starting to form their own now, the Panthers.
Now, Luai ran right behind his own guy, was going to succumb, told to play on. And he's tackled 4 metres in St Helens territory. Played to Kenny. Short ball right to James Fisher-Harris back on the field. He's tackled 34 out from the St Helens line. They got momentum here now, the Panthers, for the first time in the game. Last play, Cleary from 36 out. Shallow kick. Percival charges at it and catches it on the fly. He's been really good since moving out to the wing. He's scored 20 out from his own line. 24 minutes to go. 12-6 St Helens lead Penrith. Hope you're enjoying the World Club Challenge on Grandstand Rugby League as St Helens earn a penalty. And the Penrith team, James Fisher-Harris, a high shot. So that's the 3rd penalty of the night for St Helens. And they won't mind that, Louis. 21 out from their own goal line with Penrith showing some good signs.
Yeah, well, that's what Penrith got earlier in this second half. They got a penalty, and that's what sort of got them on the front foot to start to get that momentum, got them down the other end of the field. This could be the change that St Helens needed, because they've been struggling to get out of their own end at the moment.
So now they find touch 10 short of halfway, and Roby will take the tap. He gives it away open side right that time to James Bell, and he's tackled 3 metres short of halfway. Nathan said, can someone wake up the sleeping Panthers? Well, I think they've done it, Nathan. They seem to be on full alert now with 23 and a quarter minutes to go. Here's some bustling defence, and Helens a metre short of halfway. Sinkfield plays it. Away it comes to the open side right. The 5 metres in Penrith territory. And Roby at dummy half. Goes to the right to Lomax. Lomax dummy's got it away to Sirinen on the right edge. Sirinen straight past Luai. Now tackled 29 away from the Penrith line. 9 in for the western touchline. It's played to Roby. Comes open side left to Conrad Hurrell. Charges into Kenny and Yo. Still standing and delivering to Roby 20 metres out. He works it left to Walmsley and he's cut down. 15 out for the Penrith line. Last coming up for St Helens centre field. To our right at the southern end. Play to Roby. Comes away left to Dodd. Dodd dummied the kick, and then he took too long and he's collared. Ball and all tackle 12 metres out from coming in there was Hosking. It's going to be a change over to Penrith. 12 out from their own line. Touchline, Johnny Gibbs.
Lewis Dodd's kicking game has been excellent tonight, but on that occasion, I'm not quite sure what happened, Andrew. They're applying some pressure. They only lead by the 6 points. It shows you the difference when you're not dominating. Physically, Arongi was caught in two minds, and good defence there. He's given up the ball meekly.
Now Crichton in centre field for Penrith, with the Panthers crowd getting behind their two-time NRL champions. Crichton tackled 31 metres out from his own goal line. And he'll play the ball after the tackle was made on that occasion by Sirinen. Kick downfield by Cleary. Over the head of Percival. Bouncing towards the eastern touchline. Percival taps it in between his legs. Cleaned up by Wellesby. Gives it back to Percival. And St Helens have it 23 out for their own line. 22 minutes to play. And it's St Helens 12, Penrith 6 after Saints led 10-0 at half-time. Now it's with Hopewadi. He's tackled on his own 30-metre line. Can St Helens go the 80 here? Played to Roby, comes to the right this time, and Hopewadi again hits it up into the defence. He's going to be taken by three defenders. Kenny was in there, along two with Yo and Garner. Now they work at right edge. Wormsley, a barnstorming run by Alex Wormsley. Tackled too short of halfway by Fisher Harris, and he gives away a restart. So Fisher Harris has given away a penalty. Now restart since coming onto the field. It's the second restart for St Helens. They're 10 metres in Penrith territory. Roby goes right to Lomax, back on the inside to Sirinen, and he's tackled 28 out from the Penrith line. 19 gone second half. 12-6 in favour of the Saints, who are on the attack. Played to Roby, comes centre field after Wellesby. Back on the inside, it comes to support as they work it up now to within, 21 metres of the line. Now to the right they go to Lomax. Short ball to Wellesby. Cut out pass is just brilliant to Hopewadi, but it went forward. It wasn't as brilliant as I thought down to our right in the southwest corner. It would have been a try to Hopewadi, but Ashley Klein-Louis ruled immediately. The pass from Wellesby was forward to Will Hopewadi. Penrith survived. They'll have a scrum 15 out from their own goal line.
Yeah, it looked too easy, didn't it, there for St Helens? It was a beautiful pass, but just went forward. And it was the touch judge. He just stood his ground, didn't move, and he got the call straight to the referee. But they were looking sharp there, St Helens, and I think the Panthers, well, they'll be breathing a sigh of relief on that one.
20 minutes gone, 20 minutes left, second half, 12-6 St Helens. What did you think, Johnny Gibbs?
It was a flat pass, and I'll go with the touches because he was right there. I know they don't always get it right, but he also got inside comfortably. Stephen Crichton did. Will Hopewadi, so it was going to be a try. It was a close call. That was a lucky one possibly for the Panthers.
Yeah, it was funny live. I didn't think it was forward. On the replay, I thought it may have been forward, but it was a tight run thing, as you say. Penrith just outside their own 30 as they send the ball towards centre field. Fisher Harris with it now, and he runs into 1, 2, 3 defenders. He's 9 metres short of halfway, where he'll be asked to play the ball to Kenny. He gets it to the left of Luai. Short ball to Garner, ran right over the top of Lomax. Now fell to meter in St Helens half. Last tackle, western side, comes away to Cleary. Puts up the high kick. It's a very shallow midfield roost. Everyone just stands and watches it, and it's finally collected and gathered in by Percival for St Helens. 25 out from the Saints line. Gee, it's a risky play, Louis. Every time you see it is now Wellesby at first receiver. He hits it up and is going to play it 32 out from his own line.
Yeah, every time you let that ball bounce, it is so risky. It can go anywhere, and then before you know it, the Panthers could have been scoring a try. But I've got to give St Helens kicking, well, their kick pressure a massive rap. They've been all over Nathan Cleary. I don't think Nathan Cleary's kicking game has been where we're so used to seeing it, but they're coming back from their pressure.
Now Lomax crosses halfway, stepping run, taken by Liotta and Fisher Harris. 9 metres in Penrith territory. Last tackle, Morgan Knowles back on the field. Wormsley off for St Helens. That's their 7th interchange. They're allowed 10. Crichton takes a probing high kick, and he'll play it only 10 out from his own line, then flicked it out the back door, which was a terrible pass, and it's been knocked on by the Panthers. Another mistake by Stephen Crichton. He's made a couple in that fullback role, and that's going to be very costly. Conrad Hurrell looks injured in back play, but Saints will have a scrum feed after that awful flick pass from Stephen Crichton, as he's surrounded by defenders, and you could tell straight away Louis knew it was the wrong thing. He just put both hands to his head. 18 minutes to go.
Yep, he was saying to himself, what am I thinking there? But what about the kicking game there from Lewis Dodd? Just puts it up, but the kick chase. Conrad Harold absolutely flying down there. Knowles flying down, put all the pressure on him, and that's why Stephen Crichton come up with that play. Hasn't had it before.
They win the scrum, St Helens. It goes left to Lomax. Short ball, Matauti. A tackle, 5 out from the Penrith line. Huge test here for the Mountain Men. Ball played, and it comes to the right. And carting the ball up close to the goal line is Jake Wingfield. He's half a metre out next to the left upright. Played to James Roby, spiralling ball to his right to Dodd, out the back to Wellesby, short ball, Sirenen. He's just short of the goal line, put to the ground by Luai, great tackle. Sirenen plays it to Roby, blindside right to Lomax, but up in his face with a great tackle is Tango. They do the Tango as he hits the deck, 15 out and a metre in from touch. Did well to stay in the field of play as it turned out. Lomax plays it to Roby. A long pass left to Wellesby, then away to Lees. Max Lees, the front row, is tackled, 15 out. Last place in Helens, who lead 12 points to 6 with 17 minutes to play. Now Roby, short side right, Lomax. Little stab kick, perfect. Taruva back there, and he's got to scoop it over the dead ball line. Goal line drop out for Penrith. Another set for St Helens. Fatigue starting to set in. It's going to be a dramatic finish here at Panthers Stadium. Time off, says referee Ashley Klein. Gibbsy, there's a play down from both sides down at that far end.
Yeah, players strewn all over the park at that southwestern corner.
Luke Garner, I think it is, mate, for Penrith, and Lomax for St Helens.
And Lomax, of course, is a player that was nearly shoved into touch. He treated that touchline like a precipice and somehow was able to stay in. It was more his strength rather than his dancing feet, but they're getting a little bit of a breather here. I'll tell you what, this St Helens side has been very, very good. The cool conditions are probably helping them because it was going to be a heat wave, and that soon dissipated, but it's been a good effort. But this is 16 to go. Andrew, we've got a good finish coming up. Will they go for the short drop out here? Nathan Cleary's thinking about it.
I've got to tell you what, he got a solid shot to his sternum there, Lomax.
So Johnny Lomax is here on the western touchline, awaiting the line drop out. He's continuing on. Luke Garner's coming from the field. And coming on for Penrith looks to be Lindsay Smith.
And that was a HIA there for Luke Garner.
So Garner off, Lindsay Smith on. Last time I saw Lindsay Smith, he played a leading role for Penrith in the state championship victory on grand final day last year. So Cleary, no, it's not the deepest kick you've ever seen, but it bounces over the 40 straight to John Lomax, and he gives it away left to Lees. Lees runs across field, straightens into Liotta, put to the ground. 9 metres in Penrith territory, 16 and a half to go. And the scoreline in favour of St Helens by 12 to 6. We'll update the cricket for you in a moment as well as play continues on day 2 in Delhi with India responding to Australia's 263, and an annoying partnership has developed. Lewis Dodd goes inside to Bell, then he got a pass away to Wellesby, got away from Fisher Harris, sends the ball right to Sirenen. Sirenen goes on a stepping run, and he's going to be taken now by the second rower Garner about 10 metres. In fact, the second rower Hosking 20 metres out from the goal line. Comes to the right, Lomax. Short ball to Wellesby. Looks dangerous every time he has it, but this time he's put to the ground and driven near and over the western touch line. Commentators curse took about 0.4 of a second. And it's going to be a play the ball for Penrith. 11 out from their own line. 15 and a half to go. St Helens 12, Penrith 6, Luke Lewis.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to be the last one for the year. You've caught the first one of the night. But
that was quick too to unfold.
4 seconds, like you said, but great defence there from the Panthers. They got Weathersby. They held him up. They slid him, used the ground to his advantage and just slid him straight over the sideline. Great work there by the Panthers.
So Penrith play the ball. They have it 14 out for their own line. Yes, in the cricket, India now 7 for 202. Aishar Patel 34. Ravi Ashwin is on 20. And so they're, 61 runs behind. This partnership is developing nicely. It's been 63 runs between Patel and Ashwin. Fisher Harris now carts it up for Penrith. Tackled on his own 30, 20 in from the western touchline with quarter of an hour to go. There's now Penrith get over their own 40-metre line, trying to get field position back. It's played by Hosking. It comes to the right in centre field. And Isaiah Yeo, strong run, but he's taken by Knowles and 2 others. 3 metres in St Helens half. Last tackle, Penrith. Played to Kenny. Goes right, Cleary from halfway. Kick downfield. It's high down to the northeast corner. Percival juggled it, but then clutched it back into his chest. And he returns the footy with some interest. 24 out from his own line. 14 minutes 30 to go. St Helens by 6. 12 to 6 they lead. Played to Wellesby. Goes right to Hopewadi. Runs into Fisher Harris and Yeo. And he's tackled. 31 out from his own goal line. 20 in from the western touch line. And repeating, St Helens have won the last 4 Super League titles as Conrad Hurrell goes without it. Scooped up by the Panthers, Kenny. And they've got it 10 metres inside St Helens territory. Ball played and it comes away to the right, Cleary. Links up with support, Lindsay Smith. He runs into Wingfield and 2 others. Tackled 32 out from the line. Morgan Knowles there as well. Crowd starts to respond again. Kenny, blindside right away to Liotta. He crashes into Knowles and two other defenders. Stands in the tackle 27 metres out from the line. Plays the ball. Kenny goes left to Yo to Cleary and out the back to Luai. Luai got the pass away. Stepping back in field and taking the tackle there 20 metres out from the goal line for Penrith was Tango. Plays the ball to Luai. It comes to the right to Cleary. Cleary delays his pass away to Crichton. Then on it goes. Through hand. Smith to Salmon. Then to To'o. And they've kept him very quiet on To'o. And he's collared here. 15 out from the line. 5 in from the eastern touchline. 13 minutes left. St Helens 12. Penrith 6. Cleary. Goes left to Yo. Put it on the fin. Got away from one. Now he straightens Isaiah Yo, but couldn't offload. He'll play it on the last 17 out from the goal line. Does so. Kenny goes left to Luai. Short ball away. Juggled and put to the ground by Penrith. Changeover. 7 out from the St Helens line as Hosking comes up with a mistake. St Helens defence, hold on, touchline, John Gibbs.
Good defence there by Conrad Harrell. Well, he needed to because it was Conrad who gave the easy possession and opportunity, good field position to the Panthers. The cornerstone of this good performance tonight has been their completion rate. It's in excess of 80%. It's about 84%, so Conrad Harrell was disappointed with that one, but they've hung on determinedly there.
And considering the conditions and the humidity, I think that is phenomenal from St Helens. They have it on their own 20. Roby sends the ball left. Percival makes a break over the 30. Now dragged down 13 short of halfway. He'll play the ball to Roby. Sends it quickly away right to Wellesby. Good set here for St Helens out of their own territory. He's up to halfway on play 4. Played to Roby. Goes from dummy half. Got a short ball away to his left. As now St Helens are 10, making 9 metres in Penrith's half. Last tackle down for St Helens. The ball to be played by Wingfield. Comes to the right to Lomax. Puts in a right foot kick down to the southwest corner. Crichton tracking it and blows it over the touchline. A metre out from the corner post. So it'll be a play the ball for Penrith. 10 out from their own line. 11 minutes 40 to go. St Helens 12, Penrith 6. And at the moment, Louis, St Helens doing a great job in terms of game management.
Oh, I was just about to say, the energy looked like it had switched back to the Panthers, and then St Helens' body language was out. But that sit there with ball in hand was really, really good. It was fast through the middle. Percival's having a great second half. He's been everywhere. So St Helens, they got 11 minutes to hang in there.
Tell you who's been good, Louis, sorry to interrupt you there, was Jamin Salmon. That's a really strong run by him to get them out of trouble. They're now 11 metres short of halfway, midway through the tackle count. It comes left to Spencer Leniu. Leniu run over the top of Wingfield, taken now by Roby. A metre in St Helens territory. They come left to Luai. Cut out ball away to Hosking. Dummies goes himself. Conrad Hurrell with the tackle. 27 away for the goal line. A metre in from the western touchline on the last. Taruva goes right, Cleary. Up goes the high ball. Wellesby getting under it. Crichton coming through. Wellesby with the catch. Crichton with the tackle. 5 out from his own goal line. 11 minutes left. Walmsley coming back on for St Helens for these last 10.5 minutes. That's interchange number 8. They've got 2 left as Hopewadi's put to the ground. 6 out from the St Helens line. This could be a crucial set defensively here for Penrith as Joey Lussick's about to come on the field for St Helens for the first time. We've seen him at 2 NRL clubs and he's with his second Super League club. Walmsley, he got through Cleary, taken by Fisher Harris and Lindsay Smith. 15 out from the Saints line. Now left Mataudia. Good run, gained 10 important metres. He'll play it on the last. 26 out from his own line. Yes, Lussick on. Roby off for St Helens. Kick downfield now from Lussick. It's a towering boot from Joey Lussick and a great catch by Crichton facing his own goal line. 10 out from his line, over the 20, but the chase is terrific. He beats the first, but he's going to play it. 32 out from his own line for Penrith. 10 minutes left. 12-6 St Helens, touchline, John Gibbs.
The crowd here, Andrew, 13,873. 13,873 hardy fans. And while you're giving out raps to players, someone who's been, I think, the most impressive tonight, Curtis Sirenin, had a blinder.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. He's been terrific on that right edge for St Helens. So now Penrith get to within 4 of halfway. And it's played by To'o to Kenny. Goes right to Jamin Salmon. He looks like he's bulked up in the off-season in a good way. 4 metres in St Helens half. Plays the ball to Kenny. Comes centre field left. A drop by Cleary. Goes backwards, but St Helens, did they get a touch? The ball's still on the ground. Picked up by Lomax, and it's play on. So the mistake from Cleary, and Lomax has it from for St Helens. 10 metres in Penrith territory, 9 minutes to go. 12-6 St Helens, a costly mistake from Cleary as Saints, Louis, moved to within 30 of the goal line.
Again, the Saints, every time the ball hits the ground, the first person to it is a Saints player. They are all over it tonight. They've been great, and here just put them in perfect field position now to really seal this game up.
Oh, it's field goal time. Play to Lussick, comes left away to Dodd, back on the inside to Bell. And he stands in the tackle of Fisher Harris and Lindsay Smith and one other 21 metres out from the line. That one other was Eisenhuth. Plays the ball to Lussick, comes open side right. Morgan Knowles away to Alex Walmsley. Taken 12 out from the Penrith line. Last tackle for Saints, they're up by 6. Lussick goes to the right away to Lomax. Sets, tries a field goal attempt. I tell you what, he's very close to the post, but he's missed to the right. And the score remains St Helens 12, Penrith 6. And what that does, Louis, is set up a 7-tackle set for Penrith with a 20-metre tap.
Yeah, I didn't even think they were setting up for that, and then all of a sudden he's hit it. He's almost got it as well, but you don't want to give the Panthers a 7-tackle set this close to game being sealed. 8 minutes, they're very dangerous, the Panthers.
Well, it should have really been a gimme from that position, to be honest, Louis, but he just took a while to decide that was the path he's going to take. It's Taruva now. He's tackled 20, make it 14 short of halfway for Penrith. Plays the ball to Kenny. Comes to the left away, Tango. He's wrapped up 5 short of halfway. 7 minutes 43 to play on the ticking clock. Plays it to Kenny. Comes back open side right towards centre field. Eisenhuth to Cleary. He got the pass away to Lindsay Smith with a right foot step. Dragged to the ground by Bell. Over the top, Lee's on halfway. They work it blind side right. Across to Cleary. Dummy beat one. Now tackled. 41 out from the St Helens line. Play it quickly to Kenny. Darts from dummy half. Goes to his left. Away to Fisher Harris. And he's met in a solid tackle. He'll play it 32 out from the goal line on the last. Comes left to Cleary. The kick from 33 metres out. Up she goes to the right wing of Hopewadi's dropped one already. The ball bounces off Lomax, fortuitously back to Wellesby. And St Helens having 11 out for their own line. 7 minutes to play. St Helens 12, Penrith 6. Touchline, Johnny Gibb.
Well, the field goal was the right option as Jack Wellesby tries to eat up a bit of the clock there. The field goal was the right option, but the setup was ordinary. It was like it was an afterthought. I can tell you this, Johnny Lomax is no Johnny Wilkinson.
No, true enough, based on that evidence. And now St Helens 25 out from their own line. A kick downfield by Joey Lussick. Crichton lost it. It's over his head, but it bounces nicely for him. 14 out from his own goal line. He'll return it to the 30 as Lussick drew near. He passed away to Taruva. He steps past one. Now dragged to the ground. Mid-quarter halfway. Penrith territory. There's 6 minutes 23 to play. St Helens leading the World Club Challenge 12-6 over Penrith. To'o in centre field. He's caught 7 short of halfway. He hasn't really made a break tonight, Brian To'o, which is extraordinarily rare. As Penrith make yet another change. Sprinting onto the field for them looks to be Jack Cogger. They're 4 metres in St Helens territory. Crowd makes noise. Cogger goes left to Cleary. It was an ordinary pass. Cleary's momentum was stopped as he caught the footy, and he's put down 39 out from the St Helens line. 2 tackles left for the Panthers. Dummy half is Cogger. Back to the right he goes to Fisher Harris, but he goes straight into the defence that time of Louis, McCarthy, Scarborough. Plays it on the last 30 out. Cleary out the back for Luai. Luai got it to Tango to Taruva, who wasn't looking at the ball. He was looking at the defence, and shock horror, he dropped it straight over the western touchline. So it'll be St Helens play the ball. 20 out from their own line. 5.5 to go. Luke Lewis, St Helens 12, Penrith 6.
Yeah, well, I love watching the Panthers when they're in this situation. You know, they're under the pump. The game's still on the line. They can easily come up with the right points. I'm looking at St Helens, their body language. They're out in their feet, but they just keep turning up for each other. Their kick chase is phenomenal. They've been doing it all night. They're getting the kicking game right, but they're sprinting downfield to make sure they limit the measures of the Panthers. It's been great to watch.
I reckon they left the hotel today and thought, we're going to melt. And now all of a sudden the weather's changed, and with 5 minutes to go, they're in front. They'll be digging so deep. Lussick sends the ball left away to Bell, and he's going to be tackled. James Bell, about 32 out from his own line, 19 in from the eastern touchline. Lussick goes right to Walmsley. He's caught 12 metres short of halfway, just under 5 minutes to go. As St Helens now, Lussick out of dummy half, but he's floored 2 metres short of halfway on play 4. Dummy half is Lewis Dodd. Goes away right this time. to McCarthy Scarborough, and he's tackled. 42 out from the Penrith line. Last tackle, St Helens. Lussick goes left. Lewis Doddle, left foot kick. He kicks it deep, but he keeps it in front of the goal line. Taken by Crichton. 7 out from his own line. Heads up over the 10 and runs into a willing chase. Headed up by Johnny Lomax. And also joining the party, Curtis Sirinen. 19 out from the Penrith line. So Penrith's got to go 80 metres here. There's 4 minutes 15 to go, and they're down by 6. 12-6 St Helens. Another interchange coming for Penrith. Coming thick and fast. Isaiah Yeo back on the field. They're mid-quarter halfway their own territory. To'o plays the ball to Cogger. Goes left to Crichton. Dummies. Then links up with Hosking. And that left side, it's nowhere near as fluent as what we've come to expect. And that's understandable on night one for Penrith. Without Billy Army kick out, that phenomenal presence out there. Yeo got away. Cleary's hammered. And he loses the ball. What a tackle by Sione Matautia. And St Helens have it 8 metres in Penrith territory. Louis, wasn't that a hit?
That was a beautiful shot. Great read coming out of the line. And he had to make it too, because the Panthers had a 3-on-1 overlap. But read it, and again, as soon as the ball hit the ground, who jumped on it? A Saints player.
So now they're 30 metres out with 3.5 to go. They can't score. You'd think field goal wraps up the World Club Challenge. Lomax sends it on the inside to Sirinen. Skipping a jump into the defensive, Leniu and Fisher-Harris. 25 out from the Penrith line. Dummy half Lussick. Sends it left away to Wormsley, right up the Hey Diddle Diddle. He's scored 15 out from the goal line. Dummy half Lussick. Goes to his right, up the middle again. The veteran front rower, McCarthy Scarborough, tackle 7 out. Last tackle. The kick's going to come from Dodd. It's a left footer. He strikes at Lewis Dodd, and he misses it. And it's a penalty.
Is it for blocking?
Yes, it appears to be, because the penalty has gone to Penrith. 10 metres out for their own line. There's 6 penalty. It's still game on with 2.5 to go. John Gibbs downstairs.
Well, he's arguing a toss here. I'm not sure whether they're going to have a captain's challenge for that one, but he's not going to. Who's right in front? Did he get it? No, he missed anyway. He missed anyway. So it's inconsequential. They get the ball back, and they've got 2.5 minutes to get out of this, Penrith.
So from the tap, they get to within 15 of halfway. Ball's now played by Leniu to Cogger. Gets it away to Yeo, and in the inside to Fisher-Harris, has been really kept under wraps by the St Helens pack. He's caught here 8 metres short of make it 7 short of halfway. Plays the ball to Cogger. Goes to his right, Cleary. Turns it in for Smith. Stepping run by Lindsay Smith. Into Sirinen and Knowles. 3 metres in St Helens territory. Exactly 2 minutes to play. St Helens 12, Penrith 6. Nathan Cleary goes left to Luai. Show and go, but great tackle by Lomax. Hasn't he been solid, Johnny Lomax? He was there with Hurrell and also Wormsley. Plays at 35 out from the goal line with 1.5 minutes to go. Cleary takes on the line. Then got a dipsy-doodle pass out the back to Cogger. Left foot step by Jack Cogger, taken 20 metres out. Last play for Penrith. It's dummy half Luai. Goes to his right. It was meant for Cleary. Missed him. Ends up with Crichton. Puts up the high kick. Pressure on Wellsby. Wellsby's lost it. Picked up by Lindsay Smith. Goes to his right. And To'o is over for Penrith. They're bound away. Crichton's kick was supposed to be Cleary. Luai missed him. Gave it to Crichton. Sent the left footer high in the sky. And Wellsby dropped it. They work it right. Smith to Brian To'o. And it's Penrith within 2. St Helens 12, Penrith 10. 1 minute 15 to go. Luke Lewis, what about that?
Wow, I don't. We've got to love our game, right? That Panthers did not look like getting back in this game. Then all of a sudden they get downfield, off a penalty, right up the other end when St Helens are going for the 1 point to steal the game. And here they are, last play. All they had to do was come up the take, and the Panthers pick it up for Australia to Brian To'o, and he goes straight over. He's been pretty quiet tonight, To'o, but he gets the try, the most important one, but a big kick here now for Nathan Cleary.
John Gibbs, is that not the most Penrith thing? What just happened?
That was incredible. It was a good kick from Stephen Crichton, and he didn't overplay it. He put it up. He gave his chasers a chance to put enormous pressure on Jack Wellsby. Jack Wellsby's been good, but any fullback under that pressure can put one down. The ball went to To'o, and like Isaac Tongo, who scored 13 tries last year, that's what To'o did. So he's got 1 for this year, or in this big match. And it's 1 for this year and 1 to Isaac Tungo. So this is a pressure kick. Nathan Cleary's been under pressure all night.
He's kicked 1 from 1. This to send the game into extra time, you'd think, with 57 seconds to go and counting. 21 out, 10 in from the eastern touchline. to draw level at 12. Penrith's been behind all night. Cleary moves in. He strikes it. He likes it. He's kicked the goal. It's 12 apiece in the World Club Challenge. 36 seconds to go. Who would have thought, Louis? On February 18, we're looking at our first golden point extra time.
With the way that the day's planned out and fallen into place, I think it was inevitable to go to extra time tonight. But wow, what a way to finish this game.
Oh, I tell you what, it's great fun though. So, 12 all, 36 seconds left. What do Saints do here? Do they try something fancy with a short kickoff, or do they just drill it deep? Here's the kickoff now by Percival, and it bounces on the 10-metre line for Penrith, and then Luai has to scramble, picks it up, gives it away right to Leniu, and Penrith are 13 out from their own line. 25 seconds left on the clock, 12 all to score, and now it's Taruba. He straightens into the defence, and he's taken by Knowles, and also coming across there was McCarthy Scarsbrook. Penrith 30 out for their own line, 14 seconds to go. Up in centre field is Isaiah Yeo. Backs his way to within 12 of halfway. This will be the last play of regulation time, and it's Jack Cogger. Goes left to Cleary. He steps his way past one. Then he accelerates, but he's tackled on halfway. Siren sounds, whistle blows. We are going to extra time and golden point here at Panthers Stadium. Scores locked at 12 apiece. I hope you're enjoying it as much as we are on Grandstand Rugby League. Luke Lewis, John Gibbs, I'm Andrew Moore, and we can have a bit more free footy coming up. Luke Lewis.
It's unbelievable. Like, I'm looking at the St Helens players. Look, I'm going to say St Helens have been the better team for the whole 80. But Penrith, they just seem to do it game after game. Every time they're here at Penrith Stadium, they come up the right play at the right time to get them back in the game or get them back in front and win. But it's just been mind-boggling how it's worked out. Stephen Crichton's been Penrith's best player for me by far. And for St Helens, there's been 4 or 5 standouts. Very hard to pick, but I'll tell you what, it's going to come down to who gets the right field position or who comes up the wrong mistake at the wrong part of this extra time.
And ironically, it's been one of their best. Wellesby, who made the mistake from the drop catch of the kick.
He's been great all night. Absolutely great all night.
John Gibbs, who would your money want to be on here in extra time?
Penrith. I want to be on Penrith, and it's the normal golden point rules, not grand final golden point rules. So
first points.
It is going to be first points, so they'll go 5 minutes. If no points, they turn around and they go forever. So, well, hopefully not forever, but no. It's been incredible. They've never really been in the game, Penrith, and as you say, Louis, that is testament to the character of this Penrith side. But when he got the opportunity there, Brian Tottenham, he wasn't going to miss from close range, and Nathan Cleary, he's kicked the goal. But their setup, they should have won the World Club Challenge, St Helens. Their setup for a couple of field goal attempts was dreadful.
Down the cricket, late on day 2. India 7 for 222. Now only 41 runs behind, with Ajay Patel 43, Ravi Ashwin on 31, and this partnership has realised 83 runs for India. So let's have a listen to the referees. They've had the toss.
Okay, so you're going to kick off. Okay, so you're going to run right to left, kicking off.
So I think that means they're going to swap sides. St Helens will kick off running right to left. Momentum's a big thing, Louis, isn't it, heading into extra time, whether it's in the middle of February or late September?
Oh, absolutely. You need the momentum going into any game, really, or any extra time or whatever you've got going on. You want the momentum with you. But again, it's going to come down to one little mistake here. If you don't get the kick right, you give away a 7-tackle set, you come up with a clumsy little error in the ruck there. It could be anything that turns this game, but you know, I'm with Gibbsy. If you are to be on anyone, you want to be on Nathan Cleary to ice this game here. So, look, I don't want to write St Helens off because they've been great all night, but you don't want to be coming up against Nathan Cleary in this situation.
Well, they had 2 chances with Johnny Lomax and Lewis Dodd and missed out. So the kickoff will come from St Helens. Penrith get first use of the footy. Francis says it's back on the season. Looking forward to it as well. Yes, this has whet the appetite as Jerome Luai nearly runs all over the kickoff. Tried to trap it. Ball went underneath his feet, but Penrith do recover and have it 15 out from their own line as Leniu plays it. It comes right to Ruba. He got through Knowles into Wormsley, put down. 26 out from his own line. So 5 minutes of extra time in this first half of it. It's played. Cogger goes right to Yeo, runs into Roby, who's back on the field, and Morgan Knowles. stands in the tackle, 34 out from his own line. Penrith a chance. Cogger goes right to Fisher Harris. He's going to be standing in the tackle now on the deck, 8 short of halfway. 4 tackles done for Penrith. Cogger goes left away to Stephen Crichton. Jinking run. Gets over halfway by not all that much though. And he's met there by Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. 5 or 6 metres into St Helens territory. It'll be a conventional kick from Cleary. Down to the southwest corner. Not particularly deep. Percival lost it behind him. The ball in the in-goal area. Here comes the chase. But Percival crashes through. Got past the defence of Smith to make it into the field of play. What an effort by Percival after the error. And now St Helens under pressure on play 2. 7 out from their own line. It's 12 apiece. Penrith and St Helens into sudden death extra time. Roby goes right this time in centre field. Mataudia bounced away from Fisher Harris, but then he's drilled back in defence. The ball is free and it's regathered by St Helens and they use it to their advantage, gaining another 15 metres. The ball played 25 out for their own line. Roby, short ball right, Hopewadi away to Lomax. He got through Luai, now tackled 12 metres short of halfway. 2 tackles left for St Helens. They need a mighty run somewhere as Wellesby got it away, and now it's the tackle made on McCarthy Scarsbrook, 7 or 8 short of halfway, centre field. Last tackle, they need a good kick, and down it comes from Lewis Dodd. Stephen Crichton searching for it, gets it on the full, inside his own 20, crosses the 20, heads towards the 30, lost it! Crichton's dropped it. That's about his 3rd error. And St Helens will get a scrum feed. 32 out from the Penrith line. Advantage now with the English champions. 3 minutes to go. First half of extra time. 12 all the score. And St Helens, we're going to have a challenge. Here's Ashley Klein.
All right, Bucky. St Helens are challenging the decision of a knock-on. They actually believe that Jerome Luai is offside. My ruling is it's a knock-on which touches the back of St Helens, and then Jerome touches the ball. But if he accidentally, he's not touching it, he's facing the other way, touches it. That's my ruling.
Well, let's see what Chris Butler comes up with in the bunker.
Stephen Crichton loses the ball here and then touches the back of Conrad Hurrell, negating any offside from Jerome Luai. The challenge is unsuccessful.
Yeah, Gibbsy, that just seemed to be a real toss-up.
Well, they've had a toss at the stumps there. I reckon they thought they might get a penalty and they'd be able to kick for goal. They're going to get the ball back anyway.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, but you know what? It's not when you think about it, if he didn't see him hit the back then, he did claim it offside. You can understand why he's challenged it. And if he does get the penalty, game over, right?
Yep.
So, you know what? I can understand why they've taken that sort of little opportunity there. Didn't pay off, but
St Helens instead will have a scrum feed right in centre field. 31 out from the Penrith line. Midway through the first period of extra time. Thrilling finish. St Helens has been in front all day, but then a 79th minute try to Brian To'o. A wide conversion by Nathan Cleary sends us to this point. Scrum won by St Helens. It goes to open side left, and the tackle made on Mataudia 25 metres out. Played to Roby. Goes right now to Bell. He's caught 18 away from the Penrith line. Do they wait to the last tackle for the field goal and the win attempt? Roby, short ball right to Walmsley. He knows what to do, and he's caught 9 metres out. Who's set deep? It's Dodd and Lomax. Ball played. It comes to Lewis Dodd. A left footer from 21 metres out. Strikes it. Likes it, wins it for St Helens. St Helens are the World Club champions. They've beaten Penrith 13 points to 12. After a Stephen Crichton drop ball, and he's inconsolable, Crichton. He's down on the ground. And I tell you what, Louis, look at what this means to St Helens. They have gone absolutely Burko out there on the field. A huge moment for them, winning this game in extra time in these oppressive conditions.
Oh, absolutely. No one really gave them a chance to come over here against the Panthers. And they come out, they had a point to prove, and they were the better team for 80 minutes tonight. The Panthers did a little bit there at the end to come up with the right play to get them back in the game, but that drop ball there from Stephen Crichton right at the end, you knew it was going to come down to one little mistake. It could have come earlier to St Helens with that little drop ball from Percival, but he got back into the field of play. They got down the other end, they come up with some great defence, and they took their chance when they got it to come up with a beautiful field goal. And what a win, 13-12 St Helens, and they are absolutely pumped out there, and it's so good to see.
We'll get some reaction on field over the next 10 or 11 minutes. What a night. 13-12, St Helens beats Penrith. But St Helens tries to the fullback Jack Wellesby in the 9th minute, Conrad Hurrell in the 16th, Tommy Markinson 1 from 2, Mark Percival 1 from 1, and Lewis Todd, the World Club Challenge winning field goal in the 83rd minute. James Roby on report for a high tackle on Nathan Cleary in the 30th minute, 2 restarts. For the Penrith side, we'll get to that in a moment or two, because let's catch up with Curtis Sirenin with St Helens, John Gibbs.
Yeah, and he's going into his second year with St Helens, and he's having great success. Grand Finals, World Club Challenge. Curtis, what a remarkable game against a quality opposition, as you're well aware.
Oh, mate, definitely. We knew it was going to be a massive jump up in class for us, but we're the sort of club that it doesn't matter who we verse, we sort of turn up and we know how to. We play our own style and we just rip in, mate. And I think the Australian sort of rugby league, world will sort of see, what St Helens is about now. So
it was an unusual day. I mean, tonight was incredible. The weather, there were rainbows, the colours. You would have been aware of those out there. What were you thinking coming into this game? I would have thought you were going to melt before you got here.
Well, mate, that's what we were panicking about, all the hydration and things like that. I think the day we left, it was -2 or something like that, and then we were expecting to play, 37 degrees. But, mate, we sort of, once you're out there and you're playing footy, you sort of forget about all the elements. You just sort of rip it in, doing your job. And, mate, it was unreal, mate. We World Club champions, mate. So just sort of embracing it.
Hey, what a great finish, because after they drew level, you controlled the game the whole match, but after they drew level, 12, here we go. After they drew level, you would have thought the heads would have gone down. There was a mistake from Crichton, and you didn't make any mistakes.
Mate, no, well, that's what we're about. It's just next job. Jackie, unlucky, mate, he caught about 10 of them all night. He drops the last one, they score, it's 12-all, but Robes gets us in, our leaders, Johnny Lomax, guys, they get us in, say, flush that, we go again. Next job, and then, mate, we get an error and we get lucky, mate, and now we're the champs. So
now go and enjoy it. But I just want to ask you one thing: James Roby, 523 games, 11 English Super League grand finals, 10 wins. I mean, unbelievable.
Mate, he's something else, mate. You sort of just don't realise when you're over here, and he was one of the players that I obviously heard about. When I was going over the club, you get over there, just the style of person he is. He's like a god over there in St Helens. You don't understand, mate. He's like nothing like it. They worship him like nothing over here. But, mate, he's such a great player. He's nearly a grandpa, and he's still going good against the Panthers, who are the best NRL side. So.
Well done. Great game, Curtis.
Right, mate. Thanks, mate.
That's awesome. Curtis Sirenin with John Gibbs. James Roby at 37. He's nearly a grandpa.
Gee, 37 and a grandpa, but I tell you what, he's playing well for a grandpa.
I tell you what, yes, he looks outstanding. He's so fit. Let's check in again with the St Helens camp. Gibbsy, who you got?
Yeah, I've got Lewis Dodd to kick the winning field goal. Well, Lewis, the first couple of attempts, not just by you, but also by Johnny Lomax, the setup wasn't that good, but he got an opportunity a third time, and you made it count.
Yeah, that's the thing, mate. We made it count. It's, they're the moments you dream of. Last night I dreamt of it, and as a kid growing up, they're the moments you dream of, and I'm just made up for these boys and the fans that travelled all this way.
Well, you're still a youngster, 21, 22 years of age, Lewis, 21, and you know the fame of this side you beat tonight, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, the belief in the camp and with the lads, that was always been there. We know how good we are, and that's all that matters. But we come here to prove a point. Win, lose, draw, no matter what. We come here to prove a point and just to show how good we really are. I think we've done that tonight. Whether we lost, won that, or it doesn't matter. We proved just how good St Helens is.
What was the talk when they got to 12-all and you were going to extra time? What was the talk? Because you controlled the game. It was incredible that it went to extra time.
Yeah, well, that just goes to show the class of Penrith. 12-0 down, many teams would have crumbled there and just rolled over, but Penrith are a really good side. We believe the hype about Penrith, missing a few players moving on, and they're still a classy outfit. But like I said, we come here to prove a point, and the golden point, that stuff you practice in training. That's muscle memory. That's stuff that you can't just do natural. That's muscle memory. That's doing repetitive. Keep doing it, for moments like that.
Lewis, the English Super League has started. You won 4 premierships in a row and know that it's a delayed start for you. So what happens? Straight home for you boys?
Yeah, fly back early morning tomorrow. Flight's at 10 a.m. I think. Land Monday morning about 9 a.m. And then we play Sunday Arvo. So bit of a rough week, but wouldn't have it any other way.
Well done.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Oh, good stuff. Lewis Dodd with John Gibbs. We've only got a few minutes left, so I wouldn't worry about another interview, Gibbsy. We'll just have a bit of a chit-chat here over these last 5 minutes. 13-12, St Helens over Penrith. Before a crowd of 13,873 for Penrith. Tries to Isaac Tango in the 52nd minute. Brian To'o in the 79th minute. And Nathan Cleary 2 from 2. 2 restarts for Penrith. And the penalty count finishes 6-3 in favour of Penrith. What does that tell us about St Helens, Louis? Because I don't think there's any doubt, it's not just a bias, that they are the NRL is a much stronger comp round in the English Super League. But here's a mob who's won 4 in a row, faced a lot of adversity coming in these conditions today, and yet, despite the fact Penrith stormed home and sent it to extra time, they found a way to win.
Yeah, look, I don't know what to say, really. Like St Helens, everyone that talks about St Helens, you know how good they are. And they've been there for such a long time. They've played so many grand finals. This team would do something special in the NRL. If they were to play week in, week out, get used to the environments and how the game was played, they've got class all over the field. But I find their mixture of the group is excellent. They've got so many young guys coming through, a beautiful amount of sort of middle-aged guys and a whole heap of experience. It's just a real well-balanced side. But this side, seriously, they could do some pretty special things in the NRL.
Well, John Gibbs, Penrith is about to start its search for a third straight premiership. What did we learn about them this evening?
Oh, well, you learned that they're a good footy side. I mean, they were on the back foot the whole game, Andrew, and they were able to come back and take the game to extra time. Stephen Crichton had a mixed bag tonight. He did some really good things, but you know, it was good defence, a good kick. He dropped the ball. We saw a ball dropped by Jack Wellsby, who also had a good game and put his side in a precarious position. But they'll be thereabouts. And you heard from Lewis Dodd there. He's aware that there's some players that have moved on. They've got plenty of depth. This is a champion side. I still think, you know, barring something unforeseen, that they'll be there or thereabouts at the end of the year. I'm not going to jump off Penrith because of what happened tonight, but they were uncharacteristically disjointed tonight. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'd say, Rusty, it's worth bearing in mind too, for round 1 against Brisbane, they'll have Dylan Edwards back at fullback, meaning Steve Crichton will shift back to the centres, and Liam Martin should be sweet to go as well in the second row. So he'll be on the right edge, I'd assume, at least to start the game. He transferred with Billy Army Kickow as Kickow was interchanged and so on over the last few years. So it'll be interesting to see whether he just is parked out on that right edge or whether he's parked out on the left edge, although that would seem to be Garner's spot to lose out there. In the cricket, India's still going 7 for 231. And Sports Digital listeners will head back to the cricket in the next couple of minutes. Ajar Patel 51, Ravi Ashwin is 32. And that's in reply to Australia's 263. So the lead only 32 now, and the second new ball 2.5 overs away, and there's still 20-odd overs due to be bowled in the day's play. 13-12, St Helens beats Penrith here at Panthers Stadium. Crowd, I've got to give credit to them, Louis, too. 13,873, considering the conditions they were dealing with as they were deciding whether or not to come to the footy. That's a great turnout.
Oh, it's an outstanding turnout. It was boiling hot during the day, so I reckon a lot of people would have been going, you know what, I'm just going to sit at home and watch it. Then all of a sudden it rocked up and there was a great crowd. But, yeah, well done to all the Penrith fans. They've been awesome over the last few years.
The presentation about to take place. And James Roby, I love that, the way Curtis Sirenan, Gibbsy was talking about this legend of the English game. Jack Wellsby, by the way, will be officially announced shortly as the player of the match. He's an outstanding young talent, isn't he?
Indeed, and Curtis Sirenan, I thought he was so impressive, and he just said to me off air, he said, St Helens, this is just a great club, and he did say that Paul Sirenan, his dad, was here enjoying it as well tonight.
Oh, he'd have loved it, big Paul Sirenan, and still represented, the family being represented, and that you can see and hear, I should say, what it meant to Curtis Sirenan to come back to Australia and to win a game like this. That means a lot for an English club. It's been very tough for Australian clubs over the years to win a World Club Challenge in the UK. It should be tough to do it that way, especially in a pre-season. But St Helens have come and conquered Penrith. I think Penrith lost 3 games all year last year. St Helens have knocked them off in the middle of February. But Penrith, they'll be the premiership favourites when they take on Brisbane in the opening round on Friday week. We'll be back Thursday week for opening night, Parramatta and Melbourne at Western Sydney Stadium. Louis, that's been great fun tonight, mate. Terrific to see you and work with you again, and I'll catch you in a week and a half.
Yeah, can't wait, and thanks for having me tonight, and looking forward to the season ahead.
Gibbsy, dry out those shorts, buddy. We'll see you in a week or two.
Yeah, look forward to a great start of the year.
Thank you to our producer, Ralph Tucker, our man of sound, Dennis Carnahan. Mick's been out here as well. Marley's been out here helping digital, Marley Silver, who you'll hear through the year. And Adam Jones, a.k.a. Jonesy, in the studio. Thank you, mate. Thank you for listening. The footy season's around the corner for many of you now, though.